Happy Friday. Mike Storey in the house. Talking about some tangible stuff, Storey. We actually had, whether or not you put a lot of stock into the combine, we're getting to all that later. But some stuff, actually some numbers and seeing some guys running in underwear. We call it the underwear Olympics around here. Did you watch the combine today, Storey?
Dude, you are just jumping right into it like no fucking warm-up at all. We're just going no lube or anything. You're just jumping right in. No, hey, how you doing?
Later.
Happy Friday. How things going?
We got actual football to talk about. You know what I mean?
We do have good show football. I did watch a good chunk of the tight end drills. I didn't watch too much of the defensive stuff. It doesn't really affect our fantasy stock too much. So I kind of skipped yesterday and most of today. But I did watch Sadiq's runs. 4.40, the fastest 40 time in 16 years. Isn't that wild?
4.39, actually. It was adjusted down to 4.39. So he did break Vernon Davis' record. Officially 4.39. Yeah, unofficial is 4.4. The nice thing is he ran 4.4 twice. So it wasn't like a 4.4 and a 4.56 or 4.5. It was 4.4. So yeah. I like the consistency there. I knew he was going to run that because, and also, did you see that all 4 days, or all 4 position groups so far have had the fastest 40s of any of all time? The fastest class. They're all the fastest class.
I mean, it just keeps getting better. Better technology, better shoes, better unitards, better starting blocks. I know they don't use starting blocks, but better measurements, better nutrition, all that kind of stuff. It's only going to keep getting better and better. Like you're going to have somebody breaking the record every 4 or 5 years going forward.
So, did you expect Sadiq to run this fast of a 40? I did.
Was expecting a 4.45 actually. So about a 5/10 of a second slower is what I was expecting. But how much can you realistically take from a straight line 40 with no pads, no helmet, no defenders, etc.? The 40 is fun to watch because it's a very tangible event. You can see who's faster. You can start to finish. It's a quick thing. Everybody knows who the fastest guy is. Realistically, though, I looked through the list of the fastest combine runners in the last 10 years, and the 30 fastest guys, none of them have a 1,000-yard season in the NFL. Not one.
Yeah, it's Tyquan Thornton. It's Xavier Worthy. It's John Ross. I'm just off the top of my head, I'm thinking of guys that were way overdrafted based on this time. And usually it's really small dudes. Now when it matters more is when you have a guy that actually is good at football and is a monster of a man, where we're talking about Sadiq is very comparable to Vernon Davis right now. And Erica, my wife, made a great point. We were watching it. She's like, I know it's different because defensive players don't really carry the ball, but she's like, besides the fact there's no helmets, there's no uniform, why aren't they holding the ball? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not an actual football move. Like you're holding a ball when you're running, typically in the NFL, if you're on offense.
Well, I mean, how much of it, unless you're talking about catch and run, when you're talking about air yards, you're not holding the ball at all, right? So it's straight line speed in terms of
good call.
Yeah.
So maybe they should do separate, like running back should typically have the ball. I mean, I know it's like kind of semantics, but again, I call it the underwear Olympics. And so I just want to get into, like, does this move Sadiq up for you? Because I know it's going to for NFL GMs. They're idiots with this 40 shit, especially the Raiders in the past. Darius Hayward-Bay is another one that got overdrafted because it's 40 time.
Yeah, the 40s actually do affect things. I think they look more so at the 3-cone. It seems to be a really productive metric in terms of being actionable and predictable, but the 3-cone also has a speed component to it. Realistically, a lot of teams come in with grades already on these guys, and a lot of times it just affirms what they were talking about. Go back and look at what Ryan Poles talked about when it came to Drake May 2 years ago, prior to him being drafted. So, but speed like this, speed sells, and dudes love taking fast guys. We've seen it time in and time out. It realistically, it bumps him up from like top 20 to top 15 overall picks, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I expected the 4.4 just based on like the guy's a workout, monster, right? I knew he was going to be prepped for this because, like you said, it's going to be 5 slots at least in draft capital, which is $5 or $7 million possibly overall, which is a big difference. And also, it's like, why not train? Johnny Manziel, like everyone just trains the hardest for this event, and then if you want to be lazy, go be lazy. This is what they care about. Dakota says, Storey, you have to compete with the best stream of the week, Saturday night Funhouse stream. 5 hours 9 minutes. Me and Ray last open bar.
What do you guys talk about on the Saturday night Funhouse streams?
It's the open bar, so just whatever they want to talk about. It's a lot of football, but I'd say it's like 60% football, 70% football, and then just I don't even remember what we talked about. It was obviously 5 hours, so we talked about a lot of stuff. Rio says, "Would you guys say Sadiq is guaranteed to be a stud in the NFL?" Story?
No.
Never a guarantee, right?
There's no guarantees at any position, let alone in tight end. Sadiq has he weighed less than I thought. I thought he was going to bulk up between the end of Oregon season and the start of the combine here. He's a full like 13, 14 pounds lighter than Vernon Davis was. So that's great on the speed component, but when it comes to like an inline tight end, is he going to stand up to the rigors of blocking in the NFL? And if he can't, does that mean he's not on the field as much? I don't think he's a guarantee to be a year one contributor to your fantasy team, let alone a full-blown stud in the NFL.
Let's talk a little more about him, but I just want to say Kyle Pitts also had an amazing combine. And, the difference between Sadiq and Kyle Pitts is legitimately 6'6", right? Had the long arms. And I'd say they had similar college profiles in terms of production, right? I think Sadiq may be a better blocker, but at least better blocking profile. He's stronger. But, like, Kyle Pitts has underwhelmed based on fantasy drafts, based on real-life expectations where he was taken. And Sadiq is not going to go as high as Kyle Pitts, but if he goes number 13, number 14, he's going to have some lofty expectations from day one. Also, just the eye test, right? Like the guy he's chiseled. Literally, he is like a Greek statue out there. And I didn't like his film, honestly. I had him at number 2. I'm moving him up to number 1. I had Max Clare ahead of him for my big board for tight ends. Because Max Clare, I feel like, is just an all-around. He's going to be like the Sam Laporta type of player that's just going to come in the NFL. He's a good blocker. Ohio State had a blocking lot this year. Last couple of years at Purdue, he was like that Brock Bowers, right? He was like that receiving tight end. So I feel like he didn't show out this year because they didn't ask him to show out this year at Ohio State. But I know it's crazy to say that the combine made me move Sadiq up. But he is up at number 1 now, and I don't feel great about it. I'm going to be lower on him just because he's the number 1 tight end in the class. For me, doesn't mean I necessarily love him. I just think he's going to be overdrafted in real life, and I think he's definitely going to be overdrafted in fantasy.
He will be overdrafted in fantasy for sure. I would expect that he'll be on waiver wires come week 8 or week 9 in fantasy redrafts this year. I think he's a good long-term prospect. Don't get me wrong. I do think he's a good long-term prospect. He dealt with some injuries last year. He missed a few games. The thing is, like when the backup tight end there at Oregon was actually fairly productive when Sadiq was not in the lineup. So that speaks more to the system that Dan Lanning has put in place there as opposed to Sadiq. Now, Sadiq, again, he's an athletic monster. He's a freak. He is one of those rare specimens. But his production doesn't go back a full 4 years or even 3 years, right? So he's got 2 years of solid production, but you want these guys to kind of come on the scene and be an absolute difference maker, a la George Kittle at Iowa, and Sadiq wasn't that. So we have to kind of take that into consideration. We also have to bake in, like, his draft cost is going to rise because of the 40. So when we're looking at evaluating these prospects come draft season, whether that's rookie drafts, dynasty drafts, startups, et cetera, you can't double count the 40 time, right? Because the draft capital teams are going to move them up the board because of the 40 time, among other things in the combine. And you can't say, well, he went this high in the draft and he had a 4.40, so I'm going to move him up to a 109 because you're double counting what's already been accounted for in the draft capital.
Let's not forget Ferguson was there too, right? That's where he went to college, the Rams tight end.
Yes.
So he played pretty well in the NFL. Eli Stowers, what do you think about him? He had an amazing workout. Broke the record for broad jump and vertical, 44-inch vertical. Undersized though, so he is. I like his ball skills better than Sadiq. Honestly, I think he's a better pro-ready receiver. Not as good. He definitely can't block worth a shit. So he is a specialist for sure. 239 pounds, I believe. But he ran a 4.6. Was it a 4.6, 4.5, 4.51?
4.55.
Yeah, okay. That's good. But I like his film better as a receiver. Obviously, Sadiq's a better player. But what do you think about him? Is this going to be situational? Like he needs to go to a proper landing spot to succeed?
I'm interested to see what he can do with a full-time complement because he was a full-time player at Vanderbilt, but he dealt with a quarterback who loved running the ball and loved pulling the ball down and running in the red zone and the 10 zone. Diego Pavia, 5'9", Diego Pavia loved getting out of the pocket and just taking off and running. And he's one of those insane guy, Jackson Dart type guys who just loves calling his own number down there, right? I think he's going to play himself into a position. It strikes me as kind of if he landed it in like a Detroit kind of, where he backs up Sam Laporta for a year or two until Sam Laporta moves on, and then kind of takes on a role from there. I don't think he'll be productive. I don't think he's worth drafting and redraft. Certainly in Dynasty, you want to keep an eye on this guy. He's probably the number 2 tight end in this class. Other than that, there weren't a whole lot of standouts in the tight ends. Nobody really kind of blew off the pages other than those 2 guys.
Real quick, give me 30 seconds on Raritan. On Eli Raritan, I know he's got a weird profile out of Notre Dame. Dude's a monster, dude. Injury. He tore both of his ACLs in a 10-month period as a freshman. I think coming into his freshman year.
What did he come in at? 6'6"?
Yeah, he's 6'6", like 255, and he ran at 4'6". And he's just a monster. Like, he looks fast. He's athletic. He's got great hands. He's actually a good blocker. Like, I'm just a big fan of this guy. I think he's going to go really underdrafted based on the medicals.
Yeah, I need to dig into him more. To be honest, I knew who he was, but I didn't know anything about his college production. Notre Dame is a little bit of a weird situation.
They didn't even use Malachi Fields. They just ran the ball with the 2 running backs. So, like, they definitely weren't using their tight end. But I'm just talking about as a player comp, as a profile. Like, I like his profile a lot, and I think he's people are gonna look at the numbers and be like, well, if you're not productive in college, tight ends, it's different, man. Like, if you fit a certain skill set, like, you will be able to play in the NFL and you will be used in the NFL. J Bob says, why does college football suck so bad now? Do you agree with that story?
I don't agree with that at all. I mean, I understand where he's coming from when it comes to players transitioning and transferring. But J Bob, could you expand on that a little more? I'm not sure what part of it sucks. I think college football is pretty darn exciting right now.
I think the transfer portal and the NIL money is good because these players are staying longer because then they're more pro ready. And that's definitely a fact, because if you can make $5 million in college, why not just stay, especially for the quarterback position? You saw that this year with all the quarterbacks staying.
Look at Trinidad Chambliss, who successfully sued in order to go back into college. He definitely could have benefited from another year because of his, he's got 1 year production there at Ole Miss, and the rest of his career has been somewhat transitional. And then what's his name from Oregon went back this year. Everybody thought that he would come out as well and be the probably number two quarterback, definitely number 2 quarterback, probably number 2 overall pick.
Number 2 pick, yeah.
What the heck is his name?
It's wild. Dante Moore.
Thank you, Dante Moore. Yeah, so I like that I'm not a huge fan if you're talking traditional college, like rivalries, these guys that go there for 4 years and this is their college and homecoming, blah, blah, blah. But I think it's been decades where this has been more of a business and less of an academic institution. And I like that they've kind of dropped the pretense of these are student athletes. Like, these are professional athletes to a certain extent. So we should treat them like adults. And if they want to make money and they want to stay in, and Dante Moore is going to make, $1.2 million, which is less than he would make in the NFL, but he figures he's going to increase his career earnings. Like, there's no other reason that he wouldn't go back. Unless he thinks that, he could be the number 1 overall pick next year.
Yeah, I think it's weird. I got this for J Bob.
Go Birds, though.
Oh, go Birds.
All right, fine. Go Birds, right?
Go Birds. Get your hand off my knee.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Did you hear about when the Eagles were playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and Elon Musk tweeted "Go Birds" with like American flag emojis, and Biden tweeted something about like "Go Fly Eagles Fly" or something like that, and Biden's tweet got like way more engagement than than Musk's. So Musk called in like 80 engineers at like 2 a.m. to change the algorithm so that he would get better engagement.
That's fucking awesome.
It's just so petty.
That's awesome. Rio has a pretty deep question for us. We can kind of give a couple names here. Who are your favorite receivers in this year's draft? Story, lead us off. You're going to talk about Carnell Tate, who you still haven't won. Is that correct?
Yeah, but there's no reason to talk about Carnell Tate. Let's talk about some.
Well, no, there is a reason, because I am at 7 because he's terrible. But okay, we know where we both stand on that one. So yeah, I mean, Carnell Tate.
Like, I didn't push back much
Six.
on Quinn Johnson. I will push back on this one. This is wild to me that you have Carnell Tate all the way down at 7. Like
it's 6. Sorry,
okay.
6.
You have again, like so you've got body catches. Like what else is there that is dropping this guy below? Okay, so
college production. He doesn't not a good route runner. He never asked to run routes. I mean, he's just running down the field wide open every time. That's congratulations, bro. Have fun doing that in the NFL. Is all I gotta say. Have fun.
Okay,
have fun. I will say I did make a move. I put Lemon at number 1. The medicals, I feel like Tyson and him are equal. I mean, give me the guy that's safer with Lemon. I know he's more. Depends where he lands if they're going to utilize him properly because he can't really play X receiver primarily. Like he can play X occasionally, but give me Lemon as number 1 and Tyson 2. So for me, a couple names I love. I love Zachariah Branch. I got to see what he runs in the 40. Again, 40 isn't everything, but if this guy runs in the 4.2s, which I think he will, the dude's skill set is. You don't think he will?
No.
4.29, 4.31. I think he will.
4.33 is what I'm guessing.
I love Malachi Fields. I think I want Malachi Fields over Carnell Tate. I just think he's the most pro-ready of almost all of these guys besides the top 3, if you want to add Tate in there. And then Concepcion's an interesting one just because so many drops, dude, but like he's going to go high just based on his amazing kick return ability, which is really valued right now with the new NFL kick return rules. But give me a couple more names. You mentioned Bernard from Alabama. I'm warming on him a lot.
I only mentioned him when we were texting the other day because you had mixed up him and Deion Burks, and those two are not anything alike.
Correct. I did do that.
Jeremy Bernard was supposed to be. He's going to make quarterbacks' lives a lot easier in the NFL, but I don't think he's like a true number 1. He was supposed to come into Alabama and be the guy this year, and he wasn't. That Alabama team was a little disappointing in general. Ty Simpson will probably go in the 2nd round, but Jeremy Bernard was not as consistently productive his this past year as people were hoping. Antonio Williams is rising up draft boards. I'm not a huge fan of that. The guy is just kind of an okay receiver,
exactly.
Right? Yeah,
that's what I put. I put just blah across the board. Like he is average at everything, which is fine. I think he might be like a safer pick in terms of a floor play, or he might be solid like first couple of years, like a Josh Palmer type, right? Something like that. But you're never. There's no ceiling there. There's no exceptional traits. I don't think he's got great hands. Like he's not really fast. Like I just don't know what he is.
That's just it. But he is rising up draft boards. But again, Antonio, he doesn't check as many of the production metric boxes as I would like. My feelings on Carnell Tate. Tyson dropped below Lemon for me because I was looking back at the hamstring injury that he suffered midseason, and his production dropped precipitously since he came back from that. He's actually not even going to test at the combine. He's skipping the combine because he's kind of still working his way back for that. Now, he could prove us wrong, but I think from an injury perspective, I'm willing to take the risk on a Mekhi Lemon over a Jordan Tyson. There's a lot of like good slot type guys in this year's draft class, right? Like you could throw like a Brennan Thompson in there out of Mississippi State. You could throw Kevin Coleman in there out of Mizzou. He played 1 year at Mizzou. He played at, I think it was Mississippi State the year before that. So those are a couple guys that I'm keeping an eye on. Another guy that I'm not sure what the NFL thinks of him yet, but Chris Bell out of Louisville. Have you looked at his tape yet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've watched tape on all these guys. I like him a lot. He's a big boy, too. He's a really big boy.
Yeah, if he runs in the low 4.4s, I think he's going to shoot up draft boards, and he's a guy that I would definitely want some pieces of in my rookie drafts this year. Chris Brazzell is in that mix, but he's not somebody that I'm looking at.
Off my board, bro. Tennessee receiver.
Then let me ask you, of the top two Indiana guys that are going to be in this year's draft, Cooper and Surratt, who's the guy you're leaning towards?
I was actually going to ask you that question right after you were just talking because – dude, I have no idea. I could see, I saw a lot of comparisons with Surratt, and I'm a big Michael Wilson guy. I see a lot of Michael Wilson in his game. He's weird because he's not really an X receiver. He's not really a slot receiver. I don't know what he is. I know he's a good football player, which goes a long way. I see a lot of people are about Omar Cooper, dude. A lot of people, and I guess the comp I would give is a less electric Zay Flowers. Right? A little bit bigger body. So I don't know, man. Right now I have Cooper one slot ahead. I have Cooper and Surratt at 10 and 11. Yeah. So I just didn't know how to rank them. I mean, is that about fair? Like maybe 3rd round picks?
I would put like Surratt probably 8 and Cooper 10, maybe 9. I think Surratt to me, body style and speed wise counts to like a Mike Evans. So I think you're going to get a really solid regular contributor in the NFL. I think Cooper's got higher upside, right? He's a little smaller, he's a little shorter, but he's very very like you could use him in motion quite a bit, right? So you move him around the formation, line up in the slot, line him up as a flanker, put him in motion, jet sweeps, et cetera, et cetera. So he's going to be versatile. So I think he's got higher upside, but when it comes to like a regular contributor, I think Surratt is going to be that kind of guy that we're going to see. We're going to hear his name called as a wide receiver 2 in a few years on a regular basis for a number of years in a row.
I don't know if you could use Omar Cooper at a static position, right? Just as even a slot receiver, like he'd be fine there. But if you're not using him creatively and utilizing a skill set, like what do you really have? You have an undersized guy that's not really a burner. I expect him to run. I think I have 4.48 written down as what the game speed that I saw, which is fine. But undersized, and again, Zay Flowers, like I have written down for him, he is a bulldog. Like Zay Flowers is really shifty, but Zay Flowers like gets tackled with one arm, right? Where like Omar Cooper is definitely hard to tackle, but Zay Flowers is literally unguardable. Where like I don't see that with Omar Cooper, but I saw a couple people I actually respect mocked him possibly as a first-round receiver, which I don't want to go there because this is not a good receiving class outside the top 3. It's relatively deep, but I don't think it's a really good receiving. I think the running back and then the receiver, like the skill players here, it's a weak class all around. I mean, there's some high-end guys, but after that, I feel like it's just a bunch of guys that, there's going to be some good players from this class, but to try to choose which ones they are, it's really hard to like put a flag plant on these guys. What about, have you watched Eric Rivers from Georgia Tech?
Yes.
I really do like him. I forget where he played before. It was a smaller school he transferred from. But because obviously Georgia Tech, I think they're still running that triple option, right? Or some version of that. So like the receivers never have good numbers.
Yeah, he's a
good player.
He was on that Florida International.
FIU. Yeah, FIU.
One team that went undefeated and they claimed themselves the national champion. He was on that team.
Yeah. What do you think about his film? Because, dude, I like him. He is a specialty player, a slot player, but really, really tough player, man, and super savvy. I was really impressed. I think he's a guy that I would like. If instead of taking Omar Cooper in the 1st or 2nd, I'd rather take Eric Rivers in like the 4th.
Let me pull up my senior day winners and losers. And was he on here? No, he wasn't. Ted Hurst was the guy I was thinking of. I don't know too much about him. He wasn't on any of my fantasy teams last year, and I haven't dug into him too much at all. So I'm going to hold back some comments until I can see a little bit more from the combine. I would agree.
It was UCF. It was at UCF actually. Shout out Blake, media manager. Appreciate you, my Jamie. My I can't wait for him to actually be my producer. We also have Mark in the chat, super fan Mark. We got the boys. The boys are out tonight.
Yeah. So I will agree with you, though. I do think that this class lacks the top end upside that we've seen in years past and that we'll see in 2027. But there's a few guys that will probably be day one starters, right? I think, is there a Tetero McMillan in this class? That remains to be seen.
Denzel Boston.
Yeah, maybe. I would
not a ringing endorsement, Story. Not a ringing endorsement.
Well, I mean, Tetero McMillan was a surefire starter, like on 20 teams, right? And I don't think even the top 3 guys, they're all kind of lumped together. I don't think there's any guarantee that any of those 3 guys becomes like that full-time player, like Ted McMillan. I think we can expect 5, maybe 6 wide receivers to go in the first round. So a lot of the playing time is going to be landing spot dependent. That's
very well put. So J-Bob, if he's still in here, he said Indiana won the Natty. He was saying that's why college football sucks. That's NIL, man. They spent some money, and their head coach is a genius, right?
Yeah, but they didn't spend as much money as Texas Tech. Like, not even close. I put
right.
Like, this is so much on Cignetti. The guy is, I hesitate to call any coach a genius, but he is as good of a head coach in college football as there has been in the last 40 years.
Do you like Concepcion for the NFL? I think he's going to go higher than he might have like 5 years ago because the kick return rules, and like he is electric with the ball in his hand. I feel the same thing about Jadarian Price. Somehow Jadarian Price is like the best kick returner in the nation as a running back. Dude's a bowling ball super fast, and like these teams are going to value that, man, because like it flips field so often now. So many more kick returns. And are you scared about the receiver that Casey Concepcion is, or do you think he can turn out to be? Because I see a lot of Kadarius Toney in his game, and that is I don't like that. I don't want anything to do with Kadarius Toney, and that's who I think this guy is.
I mean, A&M loved going downfield this past year. Go back and watch him and Mario Craver, and they just went back and forth on deep balls. They I bet his error yards are probably top of the class. I mean, the dude's fast, right? He's probably going to run a 4.4. I'm going to say 4.46, 4.45. Let's say 4.45.
Really?
So, yeah, he's fast. The thing is, like, he profiles as a traditional slot receiver. So from a fantasy standpoint, what are we doing here? Like, he's not going to be on the field in 3 wide receiver sets. So unless you get return yards in your league, and there's some leagues that do, I'm not sure that he's a guy that's worth targeting. He is like I agree that with the new return rules, he's gonna move up draft boards. But we as fantasy players need to be careful about that we don't overrate somebody that has high draft capital that doesn't translate to the NFL from a fantasy football perspective.
What happened with Ryan Williams in Alabama? Because Bernard was their best receiver, right?
Yeah, Ryan Williams was supposed to be the guy. I don't know how many games he played this past year. Let me look that up because he might have gotten hurt. I mean, Ryan Williams only had, God, I bet it's fewer than 800 yards.
That's insane. He was supposed to be the guy, like the guy.
Supposed to be the guy, yeah. And so it was supposed to be him and Jeremy were supposed to be the guys there. Jeremy Bernard was their best receiver, but he had fewer than 1,000 yards. You had Isaiah Horton there. You had what's his name? Cole Adams popped his head up every once in a while. But let me check and see the game log. See how many.
Blake Brazel. Is that how you pronounce it? Brazel.
Brazel,
yeah. Is he like head and shoulders above the guys we've seen come out of Tennessee, and specifically Jalen Hyatt, who was somehow a first-round NFL draft pick because he ran fast in the 4. He was a string bean. And give me this. There's a lot of names, right? There's more than just Jalen Hyatt. They've all been terrible. Also Dante Thornton this past year.
Dante Thornton, yeah. It's interesting because Chris Brazel is nothing like Jalen Hyatt in terms of like size, comps, etc. Brazel's what, 6'5", right? Like he's a lanky. He's 6'5", like 198 or something like that. Like he's a tall, lanky dude. Who's not particularly fast for a Tennessee team that thrives on that Josh Heupel spread them out downfield system. So for Tennessee, like it's tough to take much and translate it to the NFL because Josh Heupel runs a system that's virtually different than every other team in college football. Who's like the best wide receiver that's come out of Tennessee, realistically? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Nobody.
Yeah.
In terms of running backs, have flamed out too. I mean, Jalen Wright was supposed to be the guy. He's been nothing but a disappointment.
Yeah. So I have reservations about him. This might bite me at some point, but I have reservations about guys that come out of certain systems. Colorado, Tennessee. Right,
Texas Tech used to be that program.
Texas Tech used to be that program. Yeah, you have to be careful, right? Like that production can look really good when you look at their receiving comps versus other guys in their conference. But when you look at the fact that like they're throwing the ball 48 times a game, that changes things significantly.
Yeah, the Big 12 was always like that for a long time, where it was just it really spread out. No one was tackling, no one was playing good defense, and it was just a fucking 48-45 every single game. It was just right for stats. Blake says Cooper's going to go higher than Surratt. You agree with that? Regardless of how we have it ranked, do you think it's actually like NFL GMs, NFL teams, are they going to draft it as such?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how teams are going to view these two guys. They're different players, and it depends on somebody has a need for a slot receiver to fill out their start, when they play in 12 personnel or whatever it is, like, yeah, maybe he goes higher. I don't know.
Blake says Juwan Jennings is the best Tennessee receiver they've ever had. That might be true.
It took him a number of years to actually come on there, and now it looks like he's going to get a good payday. But yeah, that's true. Juwan Jennings is a really good one there.
Not a ringing endorsement of the program for wide receivers because, like you said, it took 3 or 4 years to even be anything, and then with the recent stuff with his fucking knucklehead tendencies. Blake, wouldn't be shocked at all if Vegas takes Surratt or Cooper later to give Mendoza familiarity. What are your thoughts on that? You saw the Broncos do that with the piece of shit, the receiver from Oregon.
Troy Franklin.
Yeah, Troy Franklin. I try to forget the guy's name because he's so bad. Do you believe in this for, to give him familiarity, or you think it's overrated? I don't know if I necessarily like doing it.
Are you asking, do I believe that NFL teams do that, or do you asking?
No, should they do it?
Oh, should they do it? No, I think I think these are professional athletes that, like, they don't need a binky to make the transition in the NFL. Not saying that NFL GMs and coaches don't think that they do, but I'm saying a guy like Mendoza, who's he like playing and winning the national championship. I don't think the guy necessarily needs to have Kalen Black, the third string running back, to make his transition that much better, or even one of the top guys, Cooper or Surratt. Like, if he gets drafted to Buffalo, I know he won't, Cooper or Surratt. Like, is that going to be a problem when he's playing with Josh Allen? Or if Vegas ends up trading up and they get, Casey Concepcion, is that going to be a problem for Mendoza? No, like, familiarity, I think it's probably overrated. There's something to be said for it, but I don't know. I don't think that it's necessarily something that should move the needle for GMs.
It does happen though. Like, if they don't like to reach for it, but it does happen probably more than it should. Blake says Hyatt only went that high because of a crazy game against Bama, and he's fast. I always hated that player and that pick. I was just so bad. He has done literally nothing. Like, they haven't really even given him a chance, right? And that's because he can't see the field. I'm guessing his practices are that bad, and he just doesn't know what he's doing. Bad hands, not good in the classroom, as they say.
I think you can count on one hand the number of relevant games that Jalen Hyatt will have in his entire NFL career.
I did once bet Jalen Hyatt. I think this year I won on it. It was a game when after Neighbors got hurt and Slayton was out. I bet Jalen Hyatt over 8.5 yards. It was so stressful. He ended up with a 2 for 12. So stressful because he was playing. He played like 80% of the snaps. That's all I cared about. But he had a drop, and he would have had the bet on the first drop. And it was just like the whole time I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I putting my hard-earned money on fucking Jalen Hyatt? And it was Jalen Hyatt, and it was I think it was maybe one of the games that Jackson Dart missed too. So it was just a messy bet, but it did hit. So those low numbers are so alluring, dude. Like, just because you can literally get it on one play, first quarter. I love doing them. That's why it's called gambling. Indiana is one of the oldest teams in history. 47 players aged 22 to 25. NFL had 140 players aged 21 to 22 last season. So that was true. Not to mention Mendoza. Mendoza, what, 22, 23?
23, I think.
So they just had a bunch of old dudes and an amazing coach who Storey likes. That's the one coach Storey will slurp. Is this correct? You would slurp him in the NFL?
Yes. That if he went to the NFL, which I don't think is that far off, I think that he could. I mean, there's some teams that are just like bad, just in general, and no coach is going to turn that around until the franchise starts making better decisions. Your Raiders, your Jets, your Browns, right?
Yeah. The
Saints were there after Drew Brees left for a while until they started changing the culture there a little bit.
Blake says the Raiders are going to draft a wide receiver regardless. Why not take one of his guys? You think they take one in the second round? I know they have a million needs, right? And wide receiver is one of them because they're literally looking at Trey Tucker and Jack Bash and Dante Thornton in their wide receiver room. It's not great.
No, it's not great. Maybe they shouldn't have let what's his name go? The little
Kobe Myers.
No, well, yes, that. And then who was the guy from Clemson, the white guy who was balding?
Oh, a little slot receiver. Yeah.
Well, I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Dude, he was good. He was good.
Yeah, they'll draft a wide receiver. They shouldn't have drafted Thornton last year. That was problem number one. They should have drafted Ashton Genty last year either. That was a luxury pick that they couldn't afford.
Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, they'll draft somebody. I think it's probably, I don't know how many picks they have, but man, they have so many needs. Like they can't afford to be taking a wide receiver in round 2, if you ask me.
No, yeah, they can't. Do you remember the stretch where Hunter Renfrow was running that China route? Unbelievable stuff. That like 1.5 year stretch where he was unguardable, scoring 7 and 8 touchdowns in a year. Kappa loved Renfrow, and he likes his little white slat receivers. Will Storey pre-order the motion picture movie Signetti? He's the director, dude. He directed that thing.
Yeah, let's pre-order it. Let's get it. What is it? What's the streaming platform it's going to be in?
I don't know. I don't know if it was a real thing. This is insane for Will. Someone dropped Rasheed Rice in my dynasty league. I spent all my fab for next year. Am I crazy? I would spend all my fab for like 10 years, honestly, because it's a dynasty league and like no one's available in dynasty, right? Like now, is this someone predicting that he's not playing football ever again or next year because of the allegations, right? Like that's the only worry with Rasheed Rice.
Sounds like a mistake. Like, why would you drop him? Why wouldn't you trade him? Sounds like somebody hit the wrong button, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised to see a message from the commissioner being like, "Oh, Joe Schmo effed up last night."
Well, who'd he drop him for? Will, I'm curious who he dropped him for. That's gonna be a funny name.
Yeah,
like
more,
Xavier Legette, like Xavier
Simmons.
Legette. Like who would you drop him for? There's just no reason to do that. So yeah, spend all your fab on essentially if it was a startup dynasty draft, he'd be in full PPR if it's not a super flex, 2nd round pick.
Yeah, easily a 2nd round pick. And I mean, Will already spent his. He's just asking if he's crazy. He already spent his funds.
No. The guy dropping Rasheed Rice is crazy, and I'm not even a Rasheed Rice fan.
Oh
my God, this is hilarious. He doubled down on not wanting a woman beater on his team. You got to separate the art from the artist. Like I much more agree with someone like not listening to Michael Jackson. That's fine. Like, but if you're playing fantasy, you can't have these like biases. Who cares? Like, who cares? I'm not saying it's right. Like, I'm not for beating women. Definitely hate it. Fucking pussies. But at that point, you can't draft like 10% of the league because they're all fucking clowns, especially wide receivers.
What if you were in your fantasy wife beating league and you were drafting somebody from the Patriots, but you're like, no, I can't because they're cheaters because of Deflategate. It's the same situation, right? Like, you got to separate the dude from the actions because this is a game about a game. Like,
yeah. I mean, they're all, dude. Do I have to remind you, O.J. Simpson was the most likable, charismatic guy. Was in movies. He ended up murdering his wife. Well, allegedly double murder. I'm just saying we don't know these people. Most of them are bad guys.
According to retailers, the most popular Halloween mask this year is O.J. Simpson, and the most popular Halloween greeting is "I'll kill you and that guy who's bringing over your glasses," or trait.
Norm Macdonald, deadpan.
Young Norm. That's young Norm too. Rest in peace, Norm Macdonald.
Watch the Norm Show, short-lived sitcom that Norm Macdonald had.
No, is it terrible? Probably funny, but terrible.
I'll tell you, the honest to God worst sitcom that I ever saw in my entire life was the Paul Reiser Show. So this is after Mad About You. He had a really, really, really short. I think it got canceled after 3 episodes. It was horrific, borderline like watching hostage videos. It was so bad. You know what else?
That now.
Dude, I might alienate some people, but the grown-ups movies, atrocious.
You mentioned this before.
Dog shit.
The first one's fine.
No, it's not. It's bad.
It's fine. When I say it's fine, it's watchable.
It's not.
Just based on the cast of characters and Chris Rock and Schneider, and it's fine. I'm not to disagree with you. It's fine. Anyways, Will, if you need a spot, if a spot opens up in this dynasty league playing against people that are dropping guys based on personal vendettas, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've heard like do not draft guys because they fucked you in fantasy. Like, just because the point is, we also don't know that Rasheed Rice is a woman beater. We know he's a clown that makes bad decisions. That's a fact. But do we actually know that he beat his wife? Like, come on. Like, how many allegations are false? Like, and I'm not. I would probably bet that he did some bullshit because it's Rasheed Rice. I think he's an idiot. but like, let's let the judicial process kind of like, like go through the motions here and figure out if he actually did it or not. So, I mean, come on, Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins was suspended.
The guy has like a hard line. No, there was no Adrian Peterson, no Kareem Hunt, no, what's his name? The dude who threw his wife on or girlfriend on a pile of guns.
Oh yeah. Also, Ray Rice needs to be out of there. There's a lot of guys, dude.
Allegedly.
Ben Roethlisberger, like, the bathroom stall stuff. Like, where do we draw the line? Just because if you whip your dick out, is it fine? Like, so there's a lot of bad dudes out there.
Are you okay with Jay Cutler? But he's just a prick in real life. Like, so.
Well, Peyton Manning committed a sexual assault in college and is a steroid user. So Peyton Manning can't be on that guy's team.
Yeah, even though that says like, that's pretty like low level what Peyton Manning did relative to everything else.
Is it? Shoving your nuts in a female trainer's face is low level?
I thought it was on her neck, like on the back of her.
Oh, so the location of the body matters where the nuts.
I know it's not
showing
good.
Your nuts.
Okay, it's not good. And the other thing, like, okay, I'm not saying it's right, and I would never do that personally. But it, like, when Manning was in college, like, it was a different time. Like, so it's hard to judge these men against today's morals and ethics and mores. Again, I'm not saying it's right, and I'm not excusing his behavior. I am saying, like, you got to look at it from what was acceptable at the time. And also, like, college is freaking weird. Did you hear about this frat house at University of Iowa that got busted?
I saw the video. That was the video, right? All the shirtless dudes?
Horrific, man. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand that at all. Somebody tell me what I'm missing when it comes to frat houses, because that is the weirdest thing in the world.
You know what's funny, though, we were talking about Peyton Manning. You said it was a different time, and you said it was the neck. But James Franco, and this is Hollywood cancel culture, which is a little different, but like James Franco, literally, you know what he did, right? So he's been out for 10 years, essentially. Like, his friends are all talking shit. Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill are talking shit about him. You know what he did, right?
I know that he's been canceled. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of stuff. It wasn't like a Danny Masterson situation. He's not going to jail because there was no crime committed. What happened was he was on a date with a girl, and they were in the car, and he whipped his dick out. Literally, the Seinfeld thing of he took it out. That's what James Franco did. But he's James Franco, and if you go on a date with James Franco, be prepared to get boned. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you're signing up for. Yeah. And I'm just saying there was no like touching, so it's not assault. Maybe it's like rude, but like, I'm just telling you, Peyton Manning's hosting the Manning cast. James Franco can't even get in a movie. Like, let's be consistent with our cancel culture, because James Franco, I'm not saying he's a good dude. All I'm saying is, I always say this to people. Like, if you're a man and a girl, let's say you go out with Scarlett Johansson on a date and she whips her titty out, and you try going to the police and be like, dude, Scarlett, she pulled her titty out in the car. Like, I'm so offended. I'm so hurt. It's like, they're going to laugh you out of the fucking police station. But like, so what, why can't James Franco not whip out his dick? You know what I mean?
Her coos out.
That's even better. I know it's a double standard, but like,
it is a double standard.
That's nothing.
Like, it's still assault. It's still assault. You still get yourself on a list for doing that. Like,
all right. Well, my official stance is that James Franco did less than what Peyton Manning did, and that's just fact, because he actually shoved his nuts on someone's body.
It's all degrees. It's all relative. Right? It's all a spectrum. But again, you have to draw a line somewhere. So where do you draw that line? I'm not excusing Peyton Manning's behavior, just like I'm not excusing James Franco's behavior. It's bad.
The line I'm drawing, Story, is that who signed up for seeing or touching or having genitalia, anything in the equation? The female trainer that's treating him, or the girl on a date with James Franco that's pretty much on a date? What do you go on dates for? You go on dates to fuck, right? Find love and fuck, or both.
I mean, you go on dates for other things. You go on dates to find your soulmate.
Lobster, right? Movies.
The concept of soulmate is so archaic and ridiculous. Like, okay, so what are the chances that you meet the one person for you? There's 8 billion people in the world. Probably not very good.
We both met him. We both met him, Story.
Are you telling me you're saying that your wife is your soulmate? No, it's just the person that, of the people that you had met so far, the person with whom you're the most compatible. It's not your soulmate. Your soulmate is probably in China, because there's 1.6 billion people in China.
I do like Asian chicks.
Well, look at the math.
I'm just kidding. I don't like Asian chicks.
Any given country, your soulmate's probably not in the U.S. with our 380 million people. It's probably in China with their. Actually, I think their population's higher than that.
You know what, Story? I'm gonna disagree with you. And actually, shame on you. Shame on you for not saying your wife's your soulmate. You know what? Mine is my soulmate. We've been through a lot together. She's a fucking sweetheart. I'm not just saying that because she might watch this back or she's in the next room. She is my soulmate.
Well, statistically, you're wrong. Statistically, you're like, from a math standpoint, you're wrong on that. This is not an opinion. This is straight up fact. Like, what are the chances that your soul of the people to whom you let's just take women, straight women, right? Straight women. How many straight women do you think are in the world that are of dating age?
Not lesbians, not
No.
blue-haired.
Let's just say straight.
Of dating age in the U.S.
No, in the world.
Shit, man, 2 billion. 2 billion.
Yeah, I mean, so 87% identify as heterosexual. There's 4 billion women in the world, so call it 3.5 billion, rounding down. You're telling me that of the 3.5 billion women in the world, you met the one person for you. She's one.
Right, I'm loving the side of you because this is a take I would have. So I much appreciate that the straight man on the show, you, is having this kind of counterculture take. And I do appreciate that. Ray would be fucking pulling his hair out right now because Ray is a guy that believes in true love. He's waiting for that. And he would be offended by your take right now. I'm not saying
that you can't love your wife or your significant other, your spouse, or your husband if you're a man. Like, love is love. I have no problem with any of that. I'm just saying from a soulmate standpoint, the person with whom you are the most compatible, define it however you want. Like, mathematically speaking, you didn't meet her or him. Period.
I've met a lot of girls. This is bad.
Yeah, bad. We got to definitely write a song about how we do not diddle kids. Do not diddle kids. It's no good diddling kids.
There is no quicker way for people to think that you are diddling kids than by writing a song about.
That's funny. We haven't seen that clip in a while.
Dakota saying Storey Ebert, which is great. I always talk about Roger Ebert on the movie pods and give his review with your review of Grown Ups. And then he said, Storey, what if that was your mom? I think Storey might say maybe she deserved it. Manning is a villain, Dakota.
The autograph.
And this is a great quote, bro. You're not allowed to be a soulmates with your wife. Storey. That's gonna be on Storey's fucking headstone. Is this you're not allowed to be soulmates with your wife?
I'm a pragmatist. Listen, like I calls it as I sees it. All right, math is math.
All right, I'm gonna hit you guys with the intro. We'll be back with all your questions. Keep on pounding them in, boys.
Nice slipping in Shia LaBeouf in there. Outstanding.
Yeah, we're never going to find a soulmate, Shia LaBeouf, because that dude is just running around, beating up people, calling people fags. What a psycho. He really lost his mind, dude.
He is a villain. Like that dude is off his rocker.
He's never going to make another doubt. The thing is, like, he's not going to get another movie deal, right? Or maybe he will because now he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy now.
Yeah. What did he do? Like American Honey, was that the last movie that he did? It's been a while. I think that was the last one. By the way, I
loved him in Disturbia. What up? What'd you watch?
First episode of season 2 of Paradise last night. Pretty good.
What the fuck? Why are you watching this shit? You haven't watched Dead Poets Society. You haven't watched Sunny. You're watching this trash. It's dribble.
I wouldn't say it's trash. It's really good. It's highly rated. So there's some issues with it, but it's good.
Don't watch news shows. Watch the old shit you haven't seen. Come on, man.
I got to get to it. You're right.
All right. Let's talk some more NFL draft and some prospect stuff. Let's talk about some running back story. We haven't really had any conversations together or on the show about running backs. It's would you call it a pretty weak class for running backs? Because I would.
Yeah, man. I don't even know if there's like a tier 2, right? Obviously, you've got the big one there. I don't even know if you can consider a tier 2 or if it just jumps down to like a tier 3. Like who would be, do you have a dude like obviously like I should stop saying obviously, but a lot of people have Jadarian Price as their number 2 running back. But like when you look at the way things shake out, I think Jeremiah Love's going to be the only running back drafted in the first round.
Yeah, my love for Emmett Johnson. That's one guy we have talked about. And Emmett Johnson, I have as my second best running back, and it's by a pretty large margin over Jadarian Price. And I just think this guy has the best feet, best vision I've seen in years. Not just in this class, in years. This dude is a stud, man. I don't think you agree with me, but if you really, really dive into the film, this dude is whoo. I love it, man. I watch it. I see like the word pro ready is so apparent to me with just his receiving chops. He's definitely much better in gap scheme than he is in zone. That's an issue. So it depends where he goes, right? Where like Caleb Johnson was definitely like drafted to the wrong spot last year, but I love him. I don't know. What were your thoughts on Emmett Johnson? You think I'm crazy?
Yeah, a little bit, because you look back at his production profile. He's got one outstanding year last year. Like the 2 years prior, like who kept like Seth McGowan, Dante Dowdle, like guys kept him off the field. Like if he was this outstanding talent, like he was 21 last year and he couldn't get on the field barely at all. I think he had 600 total yards. Like that's
Seth McGowan's really good though.
I mean, okay. Like I watched Seth McGowan at Kentucky. I don't think he's really good. Let's
I think he's really good.
Roll a little bit. So you see what I'm saying? Like if he was this monster of a producer, like last year, there's nobody else there for Nebraska. It feels like a compiled season for me more so than anything else. Great. I mean, really good offensive line.
What about the film? The vision.
Offensive line, like Nebraska was not a bad team last year. Like playing against the Big Ten West, which is the kind of the lesser of the two divisions. Yeah, he doesn't. Emmett Johnson is fine. He's solid. He doesn't excite me though.
I'm extremely excited. Where do you guys think Jeremiah Love goes? Storey, I'm gonna toss this to you. I mean, he's going top 10 for sure, right?
Yeah, probably. Like, it depends on if like the Cardinals want to get frisky, right? I think he's top 5 if the Cardinals want to get frisky.
Or Titans. Titans could do it too.
Yeah,
they have a lot of needs, but they could do it.
Where do most people have him going? I haven't looked at any mock drafts. I think that's mostly like a waste of time. But
7, 8, and 9, specifically 8 and 9, Saints or Chiefs. He's not getting past those two teams.
Okay. Let's see where Mel Kiper has him going. Mel Kiper's always like one of the guys people rely on, right?
Yeah, I much prefer Todd McShay to Mel Kiper because Mel Kiper's a fucking idiot.
He's got Love going to the Chiefs at 9. That'd be an outstanding landing spot. Like, I think
I like the Saints too. I think the Saints is a good spot too.
Saints is a great spot. Where do the Saints pick? 8?
8. It's on the board. You don't see it on the screen.
No, the name, like the when you put up the comments, it blocks part of the screen.
Oh, my bad. I have 2 screens up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are both good landing spots. He's definitely going top 10. What are your thoughts on Love? Because the Jahmyr Gibbs thing gets thrown around. Obviously, it's thrown out with TreVeyon Henderson, which is just terrible. But this is a more valid comp, right? If anyone was going to get comp to Jahmyr Gibbs, it's this guy. He's a little bigger than Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't think he's quite as fast as Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, Jahmyr Gibbs was a 4.4. That also like puts perspective for Kenyon Sadiq and his size versus Jahmyr Gibbs. They ran the exact same. I guess Sadiq technically a 4.39, but look at the size difference between Kenyon Sadiq and Jahmyr Gibbs and the fact that they ran basically the same 40. Anyway, off topic. I mean, what's there to be said about Jeremiah Love that hasn't been said already? Elite vision, balance, speed, burst. He can take the ball to the house any given touch, right? Pacheco and Kareem Hunt are free agents. Like Kansas City makes a ton of sense. God, he had 18 rushing touchdowns last year or something like that. I don't know what else needs to be said. He's an outstanding prospect. Is he as good a prospect as Bijan Robinson was? No, I don't think so. I still think he's a tier below that, but he will walk in and be a major contributor, and he will be overdrafted in fantasy football. Like, mark my words, he will be overdrafted.
You would have him between Gibbs, Bijan as a profile prospect, and Genty, right? So he's better than Genty, but worse than those other 2 guys.
I think he's better than Gibbs.
Really?
Yeah. Gibbs is a better pass catcher, but as an overall running back talent, including don't get me wrong, like Love is a really good pass catcher out of the backfield. I think he just edges Gibbs from a prospect profile standpoint.
See, I wanted to put Emmett Johnson at 1. That's how much I love Emmett Johnson, but I'm not. See, I don't just do things to do things. Like, that's a Skip Bayless move, and that's also silly. But I do believe that Emmett Johnson is I think Emmett Johnson is a better pure runner of the football than Love. And that might sound crazy, but better vision. Love is a home run hitter, which I do like, but like you're gonna get in some trouble with that, that play style, especially if you go to a bad team, which Chiefs would not be a bad team. That's a good spot. Saints are on the up and up, though. So those are 2 good landing spots compared to like Genty last year, for instance. Not a good landing spot.
Horrific landing spot. But the Raiders are a horrific landing spot for everyone. Sayonara, Fernando Mendoza.
Jonah Coleman. Give me your thoughts on Jonah Coleman out of Washington. Is it Washington? Am I correct?
Yeah, Washington.
Okay.
He's trying to think of like a good comp, like a Rashee Rice size. Like he's 5'9", 225. That might be a little heavy.
You're talking Ray Rice.
I'm sorry. What did I say?
Rashee Rice. Yeah. Just two knuckleheads that just break the law.
Right. Ray Rice. Like he's never gonna like jump off the page as an elite talent, but he does everything really well. I bet he runs like a 4.5 flat, somewhere in that range. And he's going to be exactly what a certain coach is looking for. Which coach that is, I'm not sure. I would bet he gets drafted 3 overall. I saw him have some really productive games at Washington. I think he had a 3-touchdown game there last year. So there's nothing wrong with him as a prospect, but this feels like a huge drop in general from Love to the rest of the class.
Yeah, man. Mike Washington's another name. I want to get your take on Mike Washington because I feel like he's a guy that's going to shoot up draft boards. He's huge, 6'1", 230. If he does run, he's going to have a great time. This dude's a monster. He's an older prospect, which is a little scary, but I dig this guy. I know. My comp is who's the fucking ex-49ers player that had 20 touchdowns on the Dolphins?
Running back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm off tonight. That's my comp. So there you go. Raheem Mostert. Mostert's my comp for Mike Washington, and he's more of a bruising running back than Raheem Mostert ever was. So I love Mike Washington. Am I crazy? I mean,
no, I like Mike Washington too. Like you said, he's an older prospect, so that's good from an athletic standpoint, right? Because most running backs peak around this age, so he should walk into a pretty solid role. He's much more of a bruiser, a between the tackles bruiser. I did mark him as one of my guys to watch after the Senior Bowl. So from a running backs, I got Mike Washington, Adam Randall, and Kalen Black. But Washington was far and above those 2 guys. He's probably, though, a late 3rd round pick, which means that he's not going to have a ton of draft capital that he walks in. He's built kind of like Quinshon Judkins a little bit. So a lot of it depends on like the coach that takes him and if they want to use him right off the bat. But nice combination of like agility and size. You don't see guys that are 228 that agile that often. So I do like him. The older prospect, the older age prospecting doesn't bother me as much as it does some fantasy pundits. It does, like, I actually think it's a benefit if you're talking about immediate production because most males, especially running backs, they peak around ages 24 to 26.
And it's like, how many of these teams are banking on getting a second contract with any of these guys anyway? So, like, they're just spitting these guys out. So, like, does it really matter to the team drafting them? And another issue for a lot of these guys is, I think, the fact that there's not any, 3, 4, 5 bell cows in the league now. The NFL has gone away from that. But how many open spots really are there? Like, where they draft a guy, he's going to be the guy without an injury. There's really not. Let's look at these teams here. Raiders, no. Jets have their guy. Cardinals, there's 1. Titans, there's 2. Browns, they have their guy. So Commanders is 3. Saints need one that's 4. Chiefs need one that's 5. Who else, man? Cowboys signed Javonte Williams. Rams have 2. Ravens have Derrick Henry. Bucky Irving. Like, dude, there's maybe 5 or 6 teams that could have a spot if you draft a guy high enough to come in and be the starter. So it's like there's not enough room for these guys. You talk about like startup dynasty leagues, like a guy like Mike Washington, a guy like Nick Singleton, Jonah Coleman, like Jadarian Price even, man. Like, is he gonna, even if he's a late 2nd round pick, it's probably going to be a team that has a better running back, or at least a more established running back that they like.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like the combination of Coleman, Price, and Emmett Johnson, and those guys could be exciting picks if they land on the right team. You know, they're all projected to go kind of in that like late 2 to late 3 range, but we're going to see a big drop off from there. After that, it's all going to come down to strong combines and just the right team. Like if Mike Washington gets drafted by can you put the board up again?
Yeah, I only have the top 18 listed on here.
That's fine. If Mike Washington gets drafted by like a Dallas Dallas is probably
Vikings.
Yeah, that was the other one. Vikings. That's a problem for him, and he's probably not going to see the field very much in his rookie year. Same with all the other guys there. Jeremiah Love, though, elite talent. You know, he's a borderline top 5 pick. He's definitely a top 10 pick in the NFL. So it's just going to be an underwhelming class in general. It's all going to be landing spot dependent. I think, you know, people that have Chase Brown are holding their breath that they don't end up drafting somebody a day 2 pick, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
Dakota says Jerry trades up, 2-headed running back monster. They just signed Javonte Williams.
Yeah,
Do you like the signing of Javonte Williams?
I do like the signing of Javonte Williams, but I would not be thinking that Javonte Williams is going to do what he did last year, because they wanted to make Jaden Blue a thing, and he very much was not a thing. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them go out and draft like a Jaden Knott out of Oklahoma, or like a who's another like a Damon Claiborne out of Wake Forest, like these pass catching running backs.
Yeah.
Take the load off of Javonte Williams.
Right.
Like
there was
wanted
nobody
to make
there last
they
year.
wanted
there
to
was
make
nobody.
Blue, yeah. Well, I mean, they wanted to make Blue a thing last year, and he just obviously wasn't. So what are they going to do? Like they can't give Javonte Williams that many carries again. Like, just nobody in the NFL does that.
And, you know, as you know, was the biggest Javonte fan for fantasy last year, just based on his price, right? It was a 9th round pick, 10th round pick. Even you didn't like that, but after it was all said and done, right? The numbers, obviously, the end of the year was kind of left a sour taste in all of our mouths because he got hurt, shoulder injury, and just he was definitely trending down. But the film, he's sturdy. Yes, he's consistent. Yes, he's a good pass blocker, but getting caught from behind by a linebacker, stuff like that, he's incapable of scoring outside the 25-yard line. That's a problem. If they bring in a pass catcher running back, that's a problem. If he has a little bit of touchdown regression, that's a problem. And not to mention, now we're going to have to spend, a 3rd-round pick on Javonte Williams in fantasy?
You think so? I was thinking 4th round.
I think so.
Oh, my God.
Whatever. I'm saying that's really high, dude. That's a top four pick.
Yeah, and people are going to brush off like when Jerry Jones drafts Noah Whittington in the 4th round, right? But that's a death knell to Javonte Williams pass catching, like right there. That like Whittington profiles as a traditional pass catching running back. If Jerry Jones decides that's the way he wants to go, like Javonte Williams, like without those goal line touchdowns, which tend to regress, like he's not worth a 3rd round pick, in my opinion.
No, I would maybe 5th round. That's the thing, is it's year to year. It's all ADP driven. Like I can love a guy one year and hate a guy the next year in the same exact situation, because what he did last year would have barely paid off 4th round value, right?
Right.
Like, barely. So then like
you get hot out of the gate and faded.
So many touchdowns.
And then he faded. I mean, 2 touchdowns in week 1, but he faded very quickly as well. And then, but he peaked a couple of times, but again, like if he's in the 3rd round, like I cannot wrap my head around that.
Dakota, the Cowboys need to solidify that defense and help on the offensive line, especially with the George Pickens thing, which, well, by the way, let's talk about the George Pickens thing a little bit, because, you know, he's not going to report. Like, you know, certain guys, like, look at Terry McLaurin did this story. And Terry McLaurin is the most consummate professional team guy in the world, right? Good dude. George Pickens is the opposite of that. And if Terry McLaurin took it down to the wire, like George Pickens is going to take it even farther, right? Or is he just going to show up? Is this just like posturing?
No, I mean, well, I sent you that article. I have no doubt that George Pickens will dig in. And I think that's going to be a concern for. We have seen these holdouts I don't know if these are small sample sizes. I don't know if there's a correlation here, but we have seen holdouts. Your Brandon Ayuk's, your Terry McLaurin's last year, they end up getting hurt. And whether it's they're not game ready, they haven't. Oh, by the I lost my train of thought. Anyway,
Brandon Ayuk, baby.
Oh, yeah, holdouts. So like I if he decides that like he's not gonna report until mid-August, that scares me a little bit.
Oh, I'm not drafting George Pickens this year either. Like again, he was on both of our PP lists, and we loved him, but that was also the 5th/6th round draft capital we had to spend. It's second round is like you're saying he like as of right now ADP he's 7 picks after CeeDee Lamb. Like get out of town. Like CeeDee Lamb is the one. CeeDee Lamb is tried and true. There's no issues with mentality or anything with CeeDee Lamb. Like give me CeeDee Lamb all day as a value. And I am probably not going to have any shares of George Pickens, which it sucks because I love George Pickens.
Yeah, it does suck. But again, like 7, what did you say? Like he's going to end up going to second round. So 7 picks after CeeDee Lamb. That's wild.
Yeah, I did a couple best ball drafts last night, and he went like 16 overall. Like, no, thank you.
16 overall.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
That's wild. I can actually here. Let's real quick while we have a second. So let's go through the squads. Let's see what you think.
Okay.
My Kyler Murray love is gonna really come through on these. Quarterback 25 Story. It's unreal right now in Underdog.
I cannot read that at all. Like
you got to zoom in. You can't zoom in on your screen.
All right, no, I got it. I can barely read it. Okay, I had to zoom in. This is like a 22-inch monitor too. I had to zoom in.
Well, yeah, most people are on their phones. So Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray, quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, quarterback 25. Fucking love that. Devin A-Chain, Blake Corum, Tyler Algier, Rico Dowdle, Tyrone Tracy, Kamani Vidal are the running backs. Then we have Neighbors, McMillan, Higgins, Roma Dunze, Xavier Worthy, Pat Bryant, Trey Harris, and our boy Bernard. And then 4, my tight ends suck. Mark Andrews, Gunnar Helm, Kobe Parkinson, Michael Trigg.
Dude, I don't even know that Colby Parkinson is going to be on the Rams next year.
Yeah, that was a 19th round pick. I just figured he's going to go somewhere and catch a couple touchdowns.
Also, Gunnar Helm is gross. I like Michael Trigg. Baylor's own Michael Trigg.
Chicken Conquo is gone, so Gunnar Helm's going to probably be the starter.
What does that mean for Tennessee, though? They haven't had a relevant tight end since, what's his name?
Story, I punted tight end is the point, you fucking asshole.
That's fair.
I just wanted bodies. I wanted bodies.
Yeah. When Kyler Murray ends up being a backup somewhere, that's feels like a wasted pick.
What if he's a starter, though?
It's a big what if.
Dude, he's not going to be a backup somewhere. Get out of town. That's
big
why you do these early ones, because you have value.
This has got a lot of like this could be good if Corum ends up taking over, if Tyler Algier signs somewhere as a starter, if Rico Dowdle ends up signing somewhere as a starter, right? Tyrone Tracy is just kind of like an okay pick. I don't really see much there. Kamani Vidal, a lot of people have kind of anointed Omarion Hampton as the bell cow there, and I'm not sure that that's the case. Kamani Vidal showed a lot of improvement last year. What are your thoughts there?
I just felt like as long as they don't draft somebody, he's going to have a 30% snap share, and I like his skill set. So, best ball, I just want some spike weeks. Here's the other team, another Kyler Murray team. I got a little fucked at quarterback here. Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, James Cook, Ashton Genty, Tyler Algier, Rico Dowdle, Kamani Vidal, again, Ollie Gordon, T. Higgins, Brian Thomas, Marvin Harrison, Xavier Worthy, Tesla, Flournoy, and Kyle Williams. And then this tight end room's better. Gatson, Mark Andrews, Mason Taylor. I actually really like that tight end room. This is a more balanced team for sure. The quarterbacks are kind of an issue, but
yeah, I don't want to have anything to do with the Jets. So there goes Mason Taylor. Aranda Gadsden, I was really hoping that his production would be sustainable, but he had 3 spike games and then basically disappeared for fantasy purposes. It looks like you're big on Ted McMillan, T. Higgins, and Xavier Worthy, huh? Or is it just Xavier Worthy the way that the draft fell?
I have Worthy in both of them. Just for in best ball, I like him because he should have some spike weeks. I had Algier in both of them and Kyler in both of them.
I don't know, man.
Same with Mark Andrews.
If the Chiefs end up drafting a receiver, I have concerns about Xavier Worthy having any spike weeks whatsoever.
Also, but you have the question with Rashee Rice though. Like if Rashee Rice is like banned or something, dude. Like,
Oh, that's true.
you know what I mean? And like, I would say that Tyler Algier is my guy though in these early drafts because I fully anticipate Tyler Algier goes to Tennessee. I don't know what your thoughts on that one are, but if you get Tyler Algier in Tennessee, dude, and they get rid of Tony Pollard, and it's a perfect fit. Algier and Tajay Spears is a nice, like, those are the perfect complement of backs, right? Algier gets 70% of the work, 65% of the work. Tajay Spears gets all the third down work. That's a perfect marriage right there. And I think Tyler Algier could score 12 touchdowns.
So you think that they're going to re-sign Spears and let Pollard walk?
Correct. Yeah, Tony Pollard. What are we doing with Tony Pollard at this point?
I don't know, popped off at the end of the season there. I don't know what that was. I have no explanation.
Tony Pollard is like not a lead back, and he's also not a third down back. Like he's a tweener, and he's also old, and it's just like he just has not been impressive, right?
Right. I was not impressed with him. I ended up dropping him midseason last year.
Dakota says Kyler as a backup is about as wild as it gets because you also don't want that dude as your backup because he's not going to be prepared when his number's called. And, like, you can't have him as a backup. He will pout. He pouts as a starter, dude.
Yeah, I mean, 28 years old. He should be in his prime right now. But the Cardinals, I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. I mean, they threw the ball more than any other team last year by a wide margin. I have concerns about Harrison. I've got concerns about Trey Benson. I have concerns about Trey McBride, to be frank. Like,
well, definitely. Trey McBride's a first-round pick in fantasy. That's insane.
It's insane considering that they were throwing the ball 44 times a game last year or something absolutely insane. They won't do that again.
Yeah, so where do you think Kyler goes? So I think the Jets or the Vikings. The Vikings is a better landing spot. It's risky for underdog and best balls because he might not start the year or might not start the whole year, right? Where the Jets, he would just start the whole year and it wouldn't be the upside wouldn't be there because, you know, the cold weather and the conditions. But, like, I think the Vikings is probably the best thing for his career. The Jets would be best for his fantasy outlook in terms of just stability and just knowing he's a starter. And quarterback 25 for a guy with that skill set, like, you got to agree that's still crazy value, right?
Yeah, but, like, do you really want the Jets starting quarterback? Even if he's a starting quarterback, like we saw with Fields last year, if he can't put together productive drives, they're not going to be fantasy relevant more than a third of the season.
They got weapons, though. Adonai Mitchell I love Adonai Mitchell. You know Garrett Wilson's amazing. We all know Garrett Wilson's amazing. Mason Taylor showed me a lot. Like, that's 3 nice passes. And Breece Hall, like, that's 4 fucking weapons in the offensive line, offensive side of the ball that I actually like. Kyler's legs. Like, Kyler could be a top 10 quarterback. Like, he will be a top 10 quarterback.
No, not on the Jets. There's no shot in hell.
Yes, he will.
No, absolutely not. Like, Justin Fields had Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall last year. And look where he ended up. He got benched for Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, I was between that and Muhammad.
Why the fuck would it be between that or Muhammad? Why don't you just pick a common name like a normal person?
Muhammad is the most commonly used name on earth. Read a fucking book for one.
All right. Daniel says your content is straight fire. Appreciate you. That is
that's nice.
Twitch comments. Let's connect on Discord. Sam, Daniel, go check out the Patreon and I'll get you in the Discord. But, we'll figure something out. Is Bucky cooked? What do you think about Bucky Irving?
You know, I did want to bring that up when we were talking about running backs and you had the graphic up there. It would not surprise me to see the Buccaneers draft a day 3 running back this year. I'm concerned about Bucky Irving big time. I know Rachaad White is gone, but Sean Tucker's probably going to be back, which means that Bucky Irving has already got competition. They didn't feel comfortable giving him the bulk of the work down the stretch. There might have some concerns about his mental health. I'm not like trying to dig on Bucky Irving, but there's obviously something there to it. I don't think he's cooked. Do I think that he'll get back to what we saw his rookie year? No, I don't. I think he's definitely kind of taken down a notch. I think the Buccaneers are totally fine running a committee.
Here's the biggest problem with Bucky Irving is as much as like draft capital doesn't matter with guys like St. Brown and Puka Nacua, right? Like once you make it, you make it. And like no one cares that Puka and St. Brown weren't like top 3 round picks, right? Bucky Irving, on the other hand, had one amazing year that was with Liam Cohen, right? Now he doesn't have Liam Cohen. He's coming off a bad year where it wasn't just the injury. He wasn't great. It wasn't just the role. Everything about it was stinky. It was very stinky. And it's much easier to move off a guy like Bucky Irving than it would be to move off a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Like Ashton Genty if he struggles next year. Like Bucky Irving's an undersized running back that was a 4th-round pick. So, like, it's very easy for teams to move off running backs. It really is.
I mean, the Buccaneers lucked into something with Bucky Irving his rookie year. And last year he got hurt. He dealt with some mental health issues. They felt comfortable running a committee with Rachaad White and Sean Tucker in his stead. And again, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see them draft a 4th-round running back or a 3rd-round running back. And then now we're looking at another 3-headed committee. It's a big concern.
Let's talk about a couple of running backs I want to pick your brain on. Jonah Coleman, you said he's kind of just a guy. Nick Singleton, who was like the #1 running back in that class coming out of high school, pretty consistent through college, but it wasn't, he actually got worse as the years went on somehow. And I feel like he's going to be he's not doing anything in the combine, I don't think, because he has an injury. So
he broke his foot before the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. So is this a value? Because I think we both would know he would dominate that because he is 225 pounds. He's like a 4.4 guy and really good pass catcher actually for his size. So is he a guy that's going to be a nice value for a team? Because I don't think he's a very good football player. Like, I don't think he's got good instincts. He doesn't have good vision. But he has, he's a guy that has the measurables. And if he falls like the 4th round, that would be a value, or do you think he's just not very good?
I don't think he'll fall to the 4th round. I think he's a 3rd-round pick. To be honest, a late 3rd-round pick. I think it was a bit of a surprise when he came back for his senior year last year, and his production dipped because of the emergence of Katron Allen. Singleton, we were going to see some pretty impressive measurables at the combine, but again, he broke his foot prior to. That might ding him a little bit, so maybe he does slip into the 4th round. He's been impressive in his college career. Penn State is not an easy place to get on the field as a running back, and he showed multiple times that he can get there. The big question is, can he be consistent? Like, can he string together multiple consistent productive games to make it where he's pushing other guys off the field and he becomes the guy? And I see him as a bit of a complementary back, at least to start. He might be able to grow into that role, but it's going to take some development. He's going to have to mature a little bit. I'm not huge on him coming back for his senior year. I think he would have been better off coming out his junior year, but we'll see. A team's going to have to take a chance on him.
Le'Veon Moss. This is the guy I'm really high on. I think he is a day 1 starter if needed. I think he is pro ready. Size, speed, vision, all those things. Like he's the opposite of Nick Singleton, right? Like Nick Singleton is flashier and he has, the metrics all in his favor and the body type. Le'Veon Moss is a grown man that is just he is my version of Malachi Fields for the wide receiver room. Le'Veon Moss come in day 1. He's a better version of Ollie Gordon. My take on Le'Veon Moss. What do you think about him?
So that's another guy that was a bit of a surprise. His junior year was very productive, 10 touchdowns, I think, something like that. But he got injured and ended his season early. I think you have to be concerned about his durability, right? He's not
That's the problem.
Guy. He missed multiple games last year, and it might have gone underreported, but he also there was some mental health concerns about Le'Veon Moss. And like while he was injured last year as well, there was concerns that like he was gonna miss multiple games beyond when the injury allowed him to come back due to some things. I don't remember the exact extent of it. Yes, he's got a lot of tools, but man, Texas A&M has consistently produced really solid running backs in terms of like on-field production from a college standpoint. In fact, there was 3 guys after Le'Veon Moss got injured last year that all kind of stepped up. Amari Daniels, I can't think of the other guys' names. Hang on, I'll look it up. But yeah, so I get where you're coming from. He's got some of those, like he's got everything that you look for. I do have concerns about, like I said, his durability and the fact that other guys really kind of stepped in there and had very similar production, even to the extent like they were like 95% of what Le'Veon Moss was on the field.
I love him. I actually love him. I think he's going to be definitely a value, although you mentioned the medicals, which is an issue. Before we get to any more players, got a shout out. What do you got?
EJ Smith was another guy that was productive in Le'Veon Moss's stead. So you had Amari Daniels, you had EJ Smith. So there was multiple guys that kind of stepped in there.
All right, got a couple more names coming for you guys. Before I get to any of that, shout out to the Patreon subscribers. Appreciate you guys. About 3 people left, which joke's on them. They're going to want to come back next year, and their price is now doubled. If you get in now, your price will never change. Stay in, support your boys, and keep this channel healthy and growing. And besides just supporting your boys, access to the Discord community, which is the place to be. 70 people strong, the fantasy chat of fantasy chats, football chat of football chats, community fantasy leagues. We still have 1 spot open for the Dynasty League, guys. 1 spot. If anyone's interested, start up in May. Guest appearances on the show. You want to sit next to me and Storey in between us, talk some ball, talk about why you can't really be married to your soulmate, all those kind of things. Free merchandise giveaways. I'm doing the hat giveaway tomorrow for February right here. Getting shirts in by next month. Give you guys all the details on that. And the biggest perk of all is the bets. The bets. I know it doesn't really work right now because there's no NFL football. We will have some NFL draft props for you guys, but 96 and 58 this past year in NFL props, all even odds, 205 and 125 all time. We are just printing money here every year. We have yet to have a losing year. We rarely have losing weeks, Story. So hop on now. You get in the Discord. You get I give all the betting tickets when I make them, place them when I make them, same odds, and have the same record as me and have some cheddar, right? So you invest in me and you're going to make your fucking money. So
you invest in me, I invest in you.
ProfessionalFanatics.com or link in the description for the details on the Patreon, or just search Professional Fanatics in Patreon. So it's the place to be, and you should definitely check it out. To ask anyone that's in there, they will probably agree because they're also in there and they love this show. Nick says drafted Puka Nacua his rookie year with my last pick because his name looked cool. If you were around to watch the beginning of this show, you would have listened to Story talk about him on pretty much every single motherfucking show because he loved Puka Nacua coming out of BYU.
I did love Puka Nacua. Yeah, if you were around then. Let's see if Emma Johnson ends up being your Puka Nacua.
Ooh. I've actually hit more on fading guys that have people like consensus like love. I didn't like Marvin Harrison coming out.
One more quick point on Le'Veon Moss before I forget. He's not testing at the combine, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Film speaks for itself, baby.
Yeah. I mean, he's not fully healthy. Like, that's the reason he gave. That's a concern still.
Who is this year's Puka Nacua? I mean, most likely there won't be, and you can't say Lemon because he's a first round pick. It needs to be a guy that's going to go super late, 4th, 5th, 6th round. That's going to be a Pro Bowler. Give me a name, specifically a wide receiver. That's going to be this year's Puka Nacua that you're looking at.
That's going to be a Pro Bowler, huh? Well,
tough one. It's a tough one.
You would probably say Malachi Fields, wouldn't you?
No, he doesn't have that upside. I think Malachi Fields is just gonna. He is what we wanted Keon Coleman to be, right? That is who Malachi Fields is. He's going to be a 50. You know what he is? He's going to be Kenny Galladay, like when Kenny Galladay actually played football. That's Malachi Fields.
Yeah.
That's also going to be Carnell Tate. They're the same player. One's going to go top 5 pick. One's going to go in the 3rd round.
Oh man, I want to say Skylar Bell, but I might go with Lemon's teammate Jacoby Lane. He's a boundary receiver. Like, he's 6'4".
6'4".
Yeah. I don't know. He's not very big, but he can go up and get the ball. Like, he can win at the catch point like nobody else in this class. So that I'm gonna give you 2. I'm gonna give you the slot guy in Skylar Bell, out of UConn, and then Jacoby Lane. That's JA''Kobi Lane as your X receiver, wide flanker.
I got one for you. Bryce Lance out of North Dakota.
I don't know who that guy is. I've never heard that guy name before.
He reminds me of – who does he remind me of? He is a gazelle. That's what I have written down next to his profile. He reminds me of a Christian Watson, dude. This dude is just a fucking tall, fast. The nice thing is you're not going to have to spend a first-round pick on him, and I feel like I love his film. I think he's very competitive. I think he plays bigger than his size, as in his weight, and just a guy to pay attention to. And we've seen some of these smaller school guys come out and show out. Again, Puka Nacua. Jacoby Lane's interesting because he has a lot of George Pickens to his game. I don't expect him to run a very fast 40. I have 4.55 as my projected speed for him in terms of watching the tape, and it might be 4.6, but he had like 34 catches though last year, like, so he doesn't have any production, and that scares me because it's a Dante Thornton thing, right? Like,
dude, on those, like, he's a touchdown machine on those catches.
Yeah, he's a big play merchant. He plucks the fucking ball out of the air. It's impressive, but splash plays is fine, but like, I want consistent shit. What's going on, Jonathan? We got Jonathan in the chat. Dakota says, how many fantasy relevant players will be drafted in the NFL's first rounds? Not many. Is that an accurate assumption?
I don't know. 2, maybe 3.
Well, Sadiq will be fantasy relevant. Whether he's good is another thing. So there's one. Mendoza, depending on Superflex, he will be one, but let's not count any quarterbacks. For sure.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love, for sure. You have those two, Sadiq and Jeremiah Love. You're going to have Lemon, and you're going to have Carnell Tate, and you're probably going to have Tyson. That's 5.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd say one of those guys is going to bust. So 4?
4, huh?
Realistically.
But, the nice thing is you might have 4 guys that get drafted in rounds 3, 4, and 5 that become fantasy relevant, as we have every year. So,
yeah. 2 other guys from a wide receiver standpoint. I mentioned them in a previous stream, but Ted Hurst out of Georgia State. I think he's got enough talent and potential that a team would see him as a developmental prospect who could come on the scene. And then I mentioned him. You're gonna have to look him up. Tyron Montgomery out of John Carroll. Remember this guy?
You mentioned him. Yeah, you did. That's a crazy school.
Yeah, it's a weird, like, you got to look past the path that he took to get there. But he really shined at the Senior Bowl.
All right. I'm going to take a pee. Storey, you got a little bit of time left before you got to take off?
Yeah, I'm in no rush.
Cool. I'm going to take a pee. I have the goal here. We have 23 minutes left in the show. If we meet the goal, I'll chug a beer. We'll do a little bit more time. Other than that, we'll do 20 more minutes. I'm going to grab a beer. I'll be back. Super chat goal, guys. 4 super chats. Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. I don't really care if they're $1 or not. Even though I only get 50 cents from that, I'm terrible. Here we go.
Stone shield potions should be... Oh, God. I'm going to have diarrhea again. You can't go to the bathroom. You're stacking Sunder armor. It's okay. Mom! Bathroom!
What, hon?
Bathroom! Bathroom!
Oh, that's a big boy, isn't he?
All right, Kenny, drink your elixir of the mongoose. I'm now going to use Mocking Blow.
What a great episode.
Elixir of the mongoose.
I just love Randy's whole arc when he gets into the game and he's just obsessed. Randy getting obsessed over shit's fucking hilarious.
Integrity Farms.
It's the best. Oh my God, Integrity. Let's see. Nick. Oh, Malachi Fields is a cool name. It is a very cool name. I may be biased because I saw him play at NC State, but Concepcion looked good when we had him. We talked about him earlier. The drops is an issue, though, right?
Bit of an issue. He's a field stretcher. Like, he depends on what the team expects out of him. Like, who's the best returner in the game right now? Like, who's the most consistent guy on the field when it comes to returns?
Fuck. Rashid Shaheed, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it would be Shaheed. So he's not to that level, but he's a very good return guy.
Yeah, he is. I love Nico. The nice thing is we have Nico back on the co-host front. So now we have a Nick O, and we have the Nico co-host. Nico, got to get in the Discord. We need to have Nico in the Discord. He asked a lot of very good questions, and we appreciate him very much. I have another running back name I want to toss by you. I don't know if you watched this guy's film, but L.J. Martin out of BYU.
Dude, he was on my fantasy team last year. Dude,
now this might sound blasphemous, but I see a little Jonathan Taylor in this guy's game. Same size, same speed. I understand. They may not same speed, but I feel like he's a 4 or 5 guy that's 225 pounds. And again, he's not Jonathan Taylor, but I like him a lot. I feel like he's going to go really late, and I would love him to the Bears.
Are you done with the whole Roschon Johnson experiment?
Yeah, and it actually brings me to a good point about Jadarian Price. How many of these, Roschon Johnson was a perfect example because Roschon's film in Texas was elite. Remember the hurdles he was doing?
Yeah.
And so these guys that you're a big proponent of this, of guys that can't beat out, and obviously it's hard to beat out Bijan Robinson and Jeremiah Love. But guys that just can't get the starting job and refuse to transfer, they rarely work out in the NFL. So Jadarian Price, I was watching his film right before the show, actually, and again, his kick return stuff's amazing, but the score of these games and all of his touchdowns, it's like, because they started off 0-2, and then they beat the fuck out of 7 straight teams. Literally 35-7 in the third quarter. Then he has his first highlight in that fucking game. And then he ends up having 3 or 4 touchdowns in that game because they win 50-20. So is there any concern that he's beating up on, games that are over, a worn down defense? You know what I mean? Where it's almost Love is beating up the defense and tiring them out. And then he comes in as just the finisher, which that's not going to be the case in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, there's concern 100% there, because take Notre Dame. You look at Jadarian Price, lost my train of thought again. Man, I am way out of it today. Who are you talking about?
Sorry, I'm reading the chat, so I lose my place here. I got to help Dakota out real quick. Current underdog team, I'm up with back-to-back 120, 121. What does my team need? He has Purdy and Stafford, Gibbs, Brown are his running backs. That's nice. Collins, Burden, Waddle, Warren, and Fannin. Well, you pretty much don't take any tight ends. Don't take any quarterbacks. You need a running back. You need to go running back receiver for sure, one of each, or 2 running backs or 2 receivers. So, yeah, I would say your next 4 picks need to be all running backs and receivers. I would say your next 6 picks need to be all running backs and receivers. So you want to leave after the next 6 picks with 4 running backs and 5 receivers. So you need 3 of each. So again, I don't know who's on the board, but because Purdy and Stafford's fine. You want a third one late, and then Tyler Warren, and Harold Fannin, take a Mason Taylor or something in the fucking 17th round, and you're fine with just 3 tight ends in that team. And then take Daniel Jones or something in the fucking 16th round, or Mac Jones or something, because you have Purdy and Stafford. That's fine.
Yeah,
sorry, not really a best ball guy.
Not so many best ball drafts yet, so I don't have any.
Yeah, well, I did my earliest one ever in February, but I like my teams. Jonathan, what are we thinking about Alec Pierce to the Bills? It's a nice fit, right?
It is a nice fit. We'll see. They don't seem really thrilled or interested in giving Josh Allen the elite weapons that he really needs to get over the hump.
Now, I think we're both Alec Pierce guys, but to say Alec Pierce is an elite weapon is probably not fair. He's a good player, but elite weapon, that would be so Bills to just drop a bag of money on Alec Pierce and be like, hey, Josh, here's your white X receiver. Come on, man. We do better than Alec Pierce.
Probably. I mean, I would think if I were the Bills, I'd be drafting a wide receiver. I think I would be looking at a
Denzel Boston screams Bills to me, right?
That's a great pick, right?
Because they don't need a slot. They don't need a slot. They have Shakir, who's fine. They have their tight ends. It can't be a guy like Concepcion or Branch or Omar Cooper, even Surratt could be there. He needs a big body. He needs a big body, right? He needs a guy that he can just trust it. It's
supposed to be Keon Coleman, but obviously that's not going to be the case.
He is just what a mess, man. You know what? I'm gonna chug this beer anyway. We haven't met the goal, but I like chugging beers. So let's see. 6'5", 244, Olympic level sprint speed. Dude should be amazing. He's talking about Nick Harbor.
Oh, Nick Harbor out of South Carolina. Yeah, he got injured. He missed a couple of games near the end of the season, but his last game was just epic. I shouldn't say epic. It was just a really good last game. The dude is got the athleticism. He's got the intangibles. He's got the measurables that you want. He's just got to take his game to the next level, and I think he's going to be a pretty solid prospect. Yeah, I was surprised as well that he ended up coming back to South Carolina this year, or to college. I'm not sure if he's sticking around South Carolina.
I got another name I want to ask you about that I don't know much about. I watched a little bit of his film. Wasn't much this past year. Rasul Faison apparently was a really highly touted guy out of high school. And I don't know if it was disciplinary things or injuries, but what happened to him? I know he was playing with a different program. He was with South Carolina last year, right?
Yeah. Did he? I don't know where he ended up transferring to. Is there any?
But he did nothing. He did nothing this past year. But I watched his film early on, 2023. Dude's electric, man. Electric, and he's huge. He looks like it. Literally, he looks like he's a 5'9", 190-pound guy with how he moves. He is fucking. What the hell is he? He's 210. I'm just saying, he just seems like a guy.
I mean, I'll be honest. He bounced around on teams in our fantasy league that year, and then I just kind of put him out of my head. He never really moved the needle for me because he was never He wasn't a Jeremiah Smith type guy where he every week in and week out, even if he has one down week, that he's going to bounce back. His production was never consistent enough for me to really pay attention to him.
Yeah, 6 foot 218, man. I'm telling you, this guy moves. So it's just a weird name that I haven't heard anyone talk about. And yeah, a couple other guys we could talk about. We talked about Chris Bell a little bit. I have him as the ultimate floor play in this draft.
We're kind of bouncing between wide receivers and running backs.
We're just bouncing through everything. So Chris Bell,
big
guy, right?
Did you want to talk about LJ Martin at all?
Oh yeah, LJ Martin. What do you think about him? You like my comp?
Because the athleticism is way different. He's just not. Yes. LJ Martin's not a very athletic dude. He's an average level athlete, and he also runs upright far too often. So he makes kind of a big target and no receiving upside. I know we didn't see a ton of receiving from Jonathan Taylor in college and his rookie year, but obviously he can catch the ball. I have concerns about LJ Martin being a receiver at the next level, which is what we would need from a fantasy perspective. So I do think he's going to go late. He's probably a 6th round pick, maybe 7th round pick. But let's say the Chiefs, they run it back and try to find another 7th round guy that they can develop into the kind of guy that we saw, who was another Isaiah Pacheco type guy. LJ Martin could be that guy. He kind of fits that profile.
Isaiah Pacheco, what a bum. Let's actually switch gears to tight ends and end with some tight ends, because Michael Trigg is a guy that didn't do a lot of stuff at the combine. He got his measurements though. And you see he broke the record for wingspan?
Yeah, I did.
That's appealing. Yeah. Why didn't he do any of the drills though? Why didn't he run?
I was just reading about that. I was reading about tight ends that weren't going to participate. Excuse me, Oscar Delp decided not to participate.
Yeah,
but he's
quite a bit of guys didn't.
Coming off an injury. Fernando Mendoza, but that's strictly doesn't need.
Why would he?
Yeah, he doesn't have a reason to. Oh man, who else? There was somebody else that didn't. There was a couple.
Why didn't Michael Trigg? Because I feel he would have tested well. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he did not do any of the drills.
What do you think about Michael Trigg? I have Michael Trigg at tight end 4, which is pretty high. I know he's got a lot of concentration issues and effort stuff, motor stuff, but he's kind of a guy where if you watch his highlights, you're this is the best center in the country. If you watch his lowlights, you're this guy's a bum. So I kind of go in between those two things, right? But the fucking fact his wingspan's that good. You see it on film. A dude just snatches balls out of the air. Had D1 offers to play basketball, which I know it's now it hasn't been as relevant, but Antonio Gates and some of the other guys that we've seen that are basketball it translates very well. Yeah. Jimmy Graham, and Michael Trigg just seems like that monster of a mismatch, right? We saw Gatson kind of break out last year. I think Trigg's a much better athlete and much better wide receiver or receiving tight end than he is.
Yeah, he's going to create a ton of mismatches on the field. So offensive coordinators are going to love that. What 4.7 is probably what he would run, I would guess. I don't know. But he's a big dude. I think so. He's not a huge guy, but he's 240. Very athletic, agile. can attack the point of the catch in and out of breaks. Like his route running is very crisp. He bounced around a little bit, right? He was at USC to start. He was a very highly recruited prospect. 5 years in the league in college football. So that's a bit of a yellow flag, not terrible. But yeah, I mean, like all things considered, he's a weapon that is going to give some headaches for defensive coordinators because of as you mentioned, the mismatches that he creates on the field. Athletically, he's just a really dynamic pass catcher. And I mean, he played plenty in line at Baylor as well.
So are we in line that Michael Trigg's our guy? Is he our guy?
I need to see more from Stowers before I anoint Trigg as the guy.
Well, no, I'm saying like he's going to be consensus tight end 8, tight end 7, tight end 9, that range. We're going to have him way higher than that, right?
Consensus 8, 9, 10. What do you mean? Like in fantasy redraft?
Tight end. No, tight end in the draft. Tight end 8.
No, dude, no. He's top 5 tight ends.
Not where I'm looking, man. So do you have him top 5?
I mean, I do, yeah. But he was on my fantasy team last year. So
where do you have him?
4.
Okay, that's where I have him. So can we officially bust out the Wanda Trust?
No, I'm not willing to make a determination until we get the pro days done. I'm not finalizing anything until we get pro days done.
Can you hear that?
I can hear that. Yes, the good old Wanda Trust.
Wanda Trust, baby. Michael Trigg. Going to be a little bit landing spot dependent, as most of these tight ends and most of these players are going to be. But man, I love the upside of Michael Trigg. A guy I hate is Jack Andrews, dude, from Texas. This guy sucks.
Jack Andrews.
Yeah, Andrews. He sucks.
Sucks. I would hesitate. Like, I don't think he sucked. Like a lot of the issues with Wingo last year and with the running backs and with Andrews in particular were due to how poorly Arch Manning started the year. Like he didn't really come into like being the quarterback we thought he was going to be until the last third of the season. So he's he's like a really sound receiver, 6'5", 250. I don't know what's he coming in at. 250?
6'5", 250. That's what I got.
Yeah. I think he played lighter than that at Texas. But he's not like he doesn't like dominate the line of scrimmage. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't get out of breaks very easily. He's not exactly like we just talked about Trigg and the crisp route running. Like he's not that kind of guy. He's more of a bully tight end. I don't think he's a particularly good blocker either. So that's going to limit him getting on the field.
I have a worse version of Ferguson.
A worse version of Ferguson. Okay. I mean,
I don't like that. And I don't like that comp. That's not a good comp.
Yeah.
He's bad. He sucks. Sam Roush is a guy that I actually think is similar to him, and he's going to go way later. Ooh. I like Sam Roush out of Stanford. I really like him.
What did he run? Like a 4.7?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that Trey McBride ran around the same. Yeah, Trey McBride was a 4.7 guy.
4.7. So. Yeah.
6'6", 260, dude. That's a big.
I don't know.
Big fucking boy, dude.
Oh yeah, he's a big guy. Like he's a good blocker. I don't know. He's like slightly above average at everything, but he doesn't wow me in any given aspect.
You know, my comp for Sam Roush is
He's going to go way later. Like he's going to go way later.
Oh yeah, my comp for him is Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta is not really that great.
Like, but
a good system.
Sam Laporta, like coming out of Iowa, was a very productive and established tight end at Iowa. Like Sam Roush had his games, but like when you think of Stanford football, you don't think of Sam Roush. You got to see what Sam Roush is doing today.
I do think of Stanford football as Sam Roush because I don't watch college football. I just watch the tape, and I think he is one of the most pro-ready tight ends in this draft. Max Clare is the most. He is. I wanted to have Max Clare at 1. Honestly, I'm a big fan of him. You're not as high on Max Clare as I am.
I mean, he's also a big dude. He's like 265, right?
Max Clare is 6'5", 250.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I was way overrating him. Are you sure about that?
No, never mind. That's what I projected when I watched him play. Let's see what they have him at. He is 6'5", 245. So
Okay,
same thing.
so way over.
Big boy.
Yeah. He's great after the catch. I'll give him that. They just didn't need to really showcase him at Ohio State for obvious reasons. But he's a very he's a smooth route runner. I will give him that. He was also clutch. Like, he popped his head up in big moments, and that's what you want to see from a tight end. Like, that's a quarterback's best friend, right? Like, he gets between the he's very good at getting between the levels and the defense and like finding a soft spot in the zone, very much like Travis Kelce. So I don't have him. I think I got him I would put him at 4, somewhere around there. Like, but I know that he's pretty highly.
Yeah, he's like number 2 on most people's boards. And now the thing is, with what we saw with Stowers, he's probably going to go number 2 just because combine, which I hate moving guys up that much. Like I said, I had Max Clare at 1 because of what Sadiq did at the combine. I'm gonna move him up to 1 just because I'm not just doing things to do things like Chris Sims. Like, I'm gonna go with what I actually think. I just think that I'm not gonna be as high on Sadiq's future as most. Doesn't mean he's not number 1 in this class. Like, law of averages will state he's probably the best tight end in this class, at least for fantasy purposes.
So here's I can tell you right now who's going to be overdrafted: Fernando Mendoza, Jeremiah Love, Kenyon Sadiq. 3 guys right off the bat
for fantasy.
Fantasy, yeah. All 3 of those guys will be.
Well, Mendoza's he's in best ball right now. He's quarterback 21. So, I mean, is that overdrafted? It's higher than Cam Ward went last year.
I don't necessarily think that he's going to have a better rookie year than Cam Ward.
By the way, dude, Cam Ward, where do you think he's going right now in underdog and best ball drafts? Early best ball drafts, like what quarterback?
People who get burned by rookies, they tend to push him down. I would guess quarterback 25.
26. Kyler's 25. Dude, that is a smash. I actually like that more than the Kyler at 25.
Because he's a guaranteed starter.
Right. I don't see Cam Ward ever having top 10 potential this year. I feel like he'll be like quarterback 16, which is a great return on investment. Kyler is more of the X factor where I want to win a league. Kyler could win me the league. But like the return you're going to get from Cam Ward, like his floor is going to be like quarterback 20, right? With
I think so. Yeah, like he's not worth drafting.
Abel's going to be like, hey, Cam Ward, run the ball.
He's not worth drafting we did see him run more towards the end of the year. He's not worth drafting in a redraft league, certainly, but for best ball, sign me up.
Yeah, or a super flex league, especially.
Yeah,
and then. What are your thoughts for I don't want to give away our strategy too much because we have our Dynasty Startup League. By the way, 1 spot left available. Some of the guys listening are going to be playing against us. But Cam Ward, I feel like we're both going to be more in the mindset of win now because that's how I play fantasy. Cam Ward as a Dynasty asset is probably way undervalued, right? Because I believe in him, and I believe in what they're doing there in Tennessee.
I have no idea where he's going in Dynasty. So
late. I guarantee it's late. In the 19, 18, 17 range?
Yeah, then he's way undervalued. Like, he's a starting quarterback. He's for sure the starting quarterback of a franchise for the next 3 years, guaranteed. Like, they're not replacing him in years 2, 3, or 4. They might not exercise his 5th-year option. That makes sense. But when you're talking about a starting quarterback, like, given the option, I think I would draft Cam Ward over Kyler Murray right now because of the certainty.
Yeah, in Dynasty, yeah. I think redraft for this specific year, depending on where he goes, I want Kyler just because he's never not been a quarterback 1. Like,
redraft
1 year he's been outside.
You just drop a guy and move on and stream, right? So that's a whole different
one last name I want to throw at you, tight-end-wise, Joe Royer out of Cincinnati. Dude's electric after the catch, but like a lot of people love him. He's really undersized. Like, he almost is a Chickaconquo type, like really short, 6'2.5".
I'll be honest. I know who he is. I know something about him, but he's not a guy that has been on my radar. I couldn't even tell you his measurables. I don't know. I really don't know anything about him.
He's got a 7-inch dick, which is pretty cool. But
how do you know that?
I met him at a bar.
Who was the dude last year? Who was the defensive guy running the 40 last year whose dick flopped out of his pants?
I don't know, but that was awesome. Let's talk quarterbacks real quick because it's a bad quarterback class. It's a really bad quarterback class. Let's not talk about Mendoza. And you know what's funny story is I was watching, I'm just watching some stuff here and there on YouTube. And what I thought was hilarious, they had, Mina Kimes, who I like Mina Kimes. I always have. She's been on Bill Simmons' show for some movie podcasts. She was on the Dan Le Batard show. I like Mina Kimes. I think she's pretty knowledgeable. I'm not trying to be sexist here, but like they had her on a panel with like, it was all the big guns like Louis Riddick and like Adam Schefter. And there's Mina Kimes up there, like talking prospects. Like I get that's her job, but like I don't want to listen to Mina Kimes' opinion on a prospect. Like I don't think she really watches film. Like she's not. I think she's getting information fed to her, and they need to have a girl up there besides the host. But like, why is Mina Kimes sitting up there? What is going on?
She's very active on social media. If you ever bounce around X or on Instagram, I don't know. I don't really like that. I don't really like that program because I don't really like Schefter as an analyst either. Like I think he's the best in the game when it comes to breaking news and reporting, but like as an analyst, he leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion.
But my bigger point about that was I was watching shows and they have Louis Riddick on and these other guys come on. What was Rich Eisen show, like shows like that, right? And they're talking about the draft and like they're just like, who do you want to talk about? Like, give me a name, and they're like Jeremiah Love, like. Bro, like that's all you got for us? Like, I don't need to, like, you don't need us to tell you Jeremiah Love's amazing. Like, that's why you don't watch this show. Any of the viewers, the Patreon people, the people watching the show, like, you can watch for yourself and understand Jeremiah Love's going to be a top 10 pick. He's going to be very good. Landing spot dependent, etc. Like, you want to watch the show because you want names. Like, you're talking about the guy from John Carroll University. You want to find the next Puka Nacua. That's where your money's made. We can all talk about Jeremiah Love or Mendoza or fucking Lemon. Like we could talk about all these guys or talk about like Sadiq. Like, what are we doing here with this content that's on ESPN and all these other platforms? Like, yeah, these are the best guys in the position. Like, I don't want to talk about those guys, honestly. I want to talk about the other guys, right? The guys that aren't getting talked about, the guys that I feel like that can make an impact and surprise people and also be a difference maker in real NFL. Because a top 10 pick is a top 10 pick. Like, whoop-de-doo. It's just, it pissed me off. I was like, I'm trying to learn something, and I'm not learning anything also because I can just watch Jeremiah Love's film and be like, he's good. That's it.
Yeah, but we're not their audience. Like their audience is mass market. They're appealing to casuals. So like you might as well turn that off and just ignore it completely.
I did. Okay. I did. No, I kept on watching it because I couldn't believe. I was like, he brought up literally Sadiq, Lemon, and fucking Jeremiah Love, and that was 25-minute segment. Like, and he didn't give me anything on the guys. I don't know. It was disappointing to say the least. It was very fantasy footballers-esque story is what it was.
It's surface level stuff, but that's what mass market appeals to, right? And I don't blame anybody for providing that content because there's tons of people out there that play fantasy football. But for the audience that watches this stream, they need deeper insight. They need to be like us to tell them, don't draft Jeremiah Love in the first freaking round, right?
Yeah, don't do that. And I don't know. I just want to learn, and I didn't get anything. So the quarterback class is awful. It's awful. It's awful.
Pretty bad.
So give me a couple names that could. Like Diego Pavia is 5'9", right?
Dude, I think he's 5'8".
Ty Simpson, yeah, he's probably 5'8". Ty Simpson is most likely going to go in the top 18 of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So give me a couple minutes on Ty Simpson because he's a player to me that when I watch. If you watch Ty Simpson's highlights, you're like, this guy's a first-round pick, locked and loaded, amazing. If you watch his low lights or just a whole game of Ty Simpson, specifically a game they don't win, you're like, this guy is a fifth-round draft pick. And unfortunately for quarterback, like consistency matters. And do you see it with Ty Simpson? Do you even see the upside with Ty Simpson?
I don't. Like he's 10 pounds lighter than what I think is reasonable for his frame. Like his physical tools are not going to really impress everybody. I understand why he's been moving up draft boards. I don't see him as a first round pick, but a lot of the NFL does. He's smart. He's very good in the pocket. I don't know. He's not really the best deep ball thrower, which if you're going to be a pocket passer, you kind of have to be in order to be productive. I don't think that he kind of reminds me of what the hell is his name? Zach Wilson. He kind of reminds me of Zach Wilson a little bit.
That's not a ringing endorsement.
No.
Not a ringing endorsement.
I'm not a huge fan of Ty Simpson, but you go to a big program, you get that A on your helmet. Yeah, that's probably worth 10 draft spots right there. So you're right. In the games that they dominate, he's very good because he's poised. He's very in control of the pocket. When things break down, he's also like, I think he's got like 15 career starts. So it's an extremely small sample size.
Yeah. Jonathan says it was Chris Jones. That was a while ago.
Was it Chris Jones? That's awesome.
I thought it was someone else, but yeah, it was definitely him. His dick fell. I thought there was another one too. One last point on Ty Simpson. To play devil's advocate on the pro Ty Simpson angle, it was really good early in the year, right? When I think some of the offensive line got banged up. I know the running game went to shit. So like, I heard a lot of people saying that like there was a chance that he put too much on his own plate and tried to do too much, which is, it was a tale of two halves for Ty Simpson, right? First half of the season was really good. Second half of the season, besides he had a couple show out games there, one in particular in the playoffs, but it was not as good. He was pressing. So you think that's possible, or you just don't like the player profile of Ty Simpson?
I don't like the player profile. I understand where that's coming from. The running game definitely was not what we were expecting from Alabama. What's his name started the year with a broken collarbone, and then Hill was serviceable, and then I can't remember his name, but then he came back and was somewhat productive, but then he started to be like not so good, and then Hill took over, and then Hill got injured. Like it was just a hodgepodge of these two guys, but it wasn't really a productive running game that you want to see from Alabama. That said, I still don't agree. I still don't think the profile is one that I would find to be like a successful day one starter in the NFL. I really don't.
So if we don't like Ty Simpson, who is going to be the second quarterback drafted, and he might still be the
like who's going to be the second quarterback drafted in the like fantasy or in real life?
No, in NFL draft.
Oh, almost certainly Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Carson Beck.
Who do you like besides Ty Simpson? I'm not saying you like Ty Simpson, but is it Nussmeier? Is it Beck? Who I think Beck's terrible.
It's Nussmeier, but I'll give you a guy that I think could not take over, but could like if the starter gets injured, he could be like he's going to get drafted as a backup. But if the starter gets injured, I think I would be swooping in and finding this guy on waivers. It's Taylon Green out of Arkansas. Have you watched him yet?
Oh yeah, dude. I actually last year when I was following Sean's bets, he was betting on Arkansas a lot. This past year, it was 2 years ago. This past year they got smoked every game. But 2 years ago, Arkansas actually like surprised a lot of people. And I was betting on Arkansas a lot, so I watched a lot of Arkansas. Taylon Green, 4.40, 6'6", 220. You know what he kind of reminds me of when he throws? Kind of a Jameis Winston, but he's way more athletic. He's so raw, super raw.
Super athletic. Yeah, he's pretty raw, super athletic. He's got a really good touch on his deep ball, too. So that's where your Jameis Winston kind of comp is. But he's also, like, he's very in command of the pocket. He's in command. Like, they ran a lot of RPO at Arkansas, and he's very, like, he understands when to pull the ball and when to, like, hand off, or when they run options, like, when to throw. Like, so he's a smart kid. I like that combination of athleticism and deep ball. Like he's not going to be like a starter, but if he's the kind of guy that might gets called up, I think he can make a difference in fantasy football.
Definitely in fantasy football. Real life's a question, but again, the size, speed, all that kind of stuff, and I think he's pretty proven just playing in the SEC, right? Like on a bad Arkansas team that does build some character. I like a guy. This is a guy I like. Sawyer Robertson from Baylor. What do you think about him? I watched a lot of him because of Michael Trigg.
The connection between him and Trigg last year was second to none. Like they were in sync. I didn't watch a lot of Sawyer Robertson. I mean, he was on my fantasy team, but he wasn't always a starter.
You want to hear my comp?
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield.
Okay. I don't know if I agree with that. Like,
well, I mean, it's like not. It's not. He's not going to be Baker Mayfield, but like that's the comp.
I'm just saying, like,
him play.
I mean, like he like Sawyer Robertson had some like really great moments, but in terms of like a consistently productive quarterback in the Big 12, I don't know that he's, especially because it's the Big 12. I don't know that it's him when it comes to the next level.
He's also 6'4", 220, so it's not a size comparison. It's the way they play the game. And that's not a bad thing because we all love watching Baker play the game. He's super competitive. I like his arm, dude. I just think he's a guy that's going to go like, where do you think he's going to go? Like quarterback 6 in this class? Quarterback 7?
Sawyer Robertson?
Yeah.
No, I think I would have put him at 7, but the Senior Bowl that Taylor Green had, I think really bumped him up a couple of notches. So I would say he's probably 8 or 9.
Okay, so what I'm saying is it would not surprise me if he was the second best quarterback in this class because how bad this class is, right? Now, I'm not saying he's going to be awesome, but
no, yes, it's entirely
Tyler Shuck level stuff, you know.
But like quarterbacks that are drafted, 7, 8, 9, that is a tough road to hoe.
I get it. Spencer Rattler kind of stuff. Jonathan says, back, you mean Sid from Ice Age. He is cheeks. Whenever we were watching, me and my wife, I don't watch a lot of college football. I watch a lot of film and highlights, after the season. But we were watching the one game I did watch this year, with her, was the national championship game. And we watched him at Georgia a couple times too. And every time she sees him, I think she forgets it's him. She's like, that dude's ugly as fuck. Nice sleeve of tattoos, but she's always just like, he is ugly. And he does look like Sid from Ice Age.
He does look like Sid from Ice Age. He's got some really intense prison tats. His sleeve is something else.
Cade Klubnik, you hate him. I know you hate him.
I don't hate him, but what's the one level below hate? Yes. Dude,
you want to hate fuck him?
No. I think he didn't necessarily tank Clemson, but my God, he did not do anything to elevate that. Plus, he's I don't know, 6 feet tall. He's short. He's not a very big dude.
Is he really?
Yeah. I don't know. He's not that tall. He's probably 6'1", something like that.
6'2". So probably 6'1".
No, yeah, okay. I was gonna say there's no way that he's 6'2". So if he's listed as 6'2", he's 6.5.
I think he's an X factor though, because in a class with this bad of a quarterback class, I think he has probably the second highest upside, him and Ty Simpson, right? Now the downside's immense.
He's got to clean up a lot. His mechanics are atrocious.
Yeah. He's a project that's going to be a 3-year project. And all these guys, the point is, all these guys, if you like Nussmeier, I don't really like him. Pavia's too small. Ty Simpson, we don't like. Drew Aller, I guess, but I don't really like him.
Come on. That guy was
we all hate Carson Beck. Carson Beck won a lot of games and a lot of good programs. That's what Carson Beck is. Trinidad Chambliss would have been there, but he's decided to stay in school another year. So I can't believe he did that. He should have came out. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Again,
why did he not come out?
That team was not that far off from making a deep run in the playoffs. In fact, they were what I consider to be a blown call away from winning that game. And so I think he's got because he bounced around a lot prior to becoming the start. And he wasn't even, don't forget, he wasn't the starter to start the year last year. So he worked his way into that when what's his name got hurt. So Austin Simmons. So I think this is a pride thing for him. I'm pretty sure that he wants to take Ole Miss and try to win a national championship. I honestly got to think that's what
is. That Dante Moore's thinking too, because Dante Moore would have been the second pick in this draft or the fourth pick. He would have been the second quarterback, probably the fourth pick, third pick, second pick, right? Jets would have probably taken him.
Yes, yeah.
If he has a bad year, he's going to go 15, dude, next year.
I mean, it happens, but also
why? But where's the upside, right? Where's the upside? What's the upside of him going back to school?
Again, for a couple of guys, it's not necessarily about the money. It's about the pride of the school and winning the national championship. Now, I think I don't have any evidence to support this, but I think it's a little from column A, a little from column E for Dante Moore, national championship, and Mendoza just overtook me. I can probably be the number 1 overall pick next year.
He might, or he could be the number 4 quarterback taken with the class coming out. I'm just saying he could.
Or he could be the number 1 overall pick.
Seemingly. Oh, God. Furious, I hope the Cardinals take Bailey over Bain at 3. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think the Cardinals know what they're doing, personally.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't watch any of the combine for defensive players, so I don't know how these guys shook out today.
Well, Bain, I feel like it's very, very pro ready. Very pro ready. And that dude's a monster. Monster. Bailey is the trying to think of the comp. There was a year. Who was the Jaguars guy they took? They took him ahead of Aiden Hutchinson. You know what I'm talking about? The edge rusher, the Jaguars took ahead of Aiden Hutchinson. That has not worked out. It's like one of those situations where like Aiden Hutchinson was a safe pick and the other guy was like the measurable guy. Bailey's the measurable guy. He ran a great 40. He's a guy that, you know, if it hits, he's a legendary player. But there's question marks. Bain is just going to be good. He's got the name's awesome, Bain. But he's just going to be Aiden Hutchinson, right? Which, or maybe not quite Aiden Hutchinson, but
that Miami defense was nasty all around, and Bain was a big part of that. Like, I think that you're right. He's going to be a really solid contributor. Is he going to be like a Carson Schlesinger type? That's more, I think that's kind of like Bailey's got that upside to him, right? Like outside linebacker, like really strong, gets after the quarterback, like attacks. Yeah, so I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at how these guys did in the combine. Like I said, I didn't watch any of the defensive stuff.
Furious with the info here. Bain's got the shortest arms in 25 years.
So we got the longest arms ever
in
a tight end. We got the shortest arms.
Yeah.
What a wild.
So we had all this last year with, you know, I feel like offensive linemen, the short arms matter more than the defensive linemen, right? But it still matters. You want longer arms for your edge rushers. But offensive, like left tackle, it's really tough to have short arms to be a left tackle or a right tackle in the NFL. And in defensive line, you want longer arms, but it's not the end-all, be-all. So, again, we're more fantasy guys, so we don't know as much about the defensive. That's why I was trying to lean on you, Storey, on this subject, because obviously I don't watch college football, and all I do is watch film after. Yeah. I haven't watched a lot of defensive stuff, so.
I wouldn't be surprised if they moved Bain, like depending on who drafts him. Like if the Saints end up drafting it, like they could move him around. He wouldn't be just an outside edge rusher. Like he's got the versatility to play in multiple.
3 technique. Look at that, Furious. You guys are thinking alike. He said Bain is a 3 technique, in my opinion.
There you go.
But that also is valuable to be able to be versatile. Look at what the Eagles do on their offensive line, right? Like they move guys around, they substitute guys, they move them inside, outside. Like that is super valuable. Seahawks as well, right? Like, and those are the 2 of the top 4 defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, where's Bain being projected? I did not think that he was
top
like
6,
top 5 guy,
top 7, top 6, top 8.
Because I heard rumors that like if he dropped, the Bengals would scoop in because Henderson's probably gone in free agency. Like I don't know like if his draft stock moved up after this week because of the combine. I don't know how things shook it out. Either shucked out.
Tyler Shuck, I'm pretty optimistic about him next year.
I am too.
That whole offense.
I'm excited about this Saints team in general. I like Dennis Allen.
Do you remember on this very show when I was talking up Tyler Shuck and you didn't like him?
I did. Yeah.
I think you were scared about his age.
I was scared about his age and his injury history. The dude had like 45 broken collarbones.
Yeah, dude. Here's the crazy thing, though. Spencer Rattler also played very well last year. Like and I know he had hit 10 games before he win. He was tying the record there of like without a win for a starting quarterback. But Spencer Rattler, I feel like they should trade him. And the NFL is in a great spot for quarterbacks, man. And that's the crazy thing. We were talking about this. Me and Chaz were talking about this last night or on Wednesday's show about this all-time epic quarterback class for next year, right? 2027 class. And with all these teams, like how many, like there's 5 or 6 first-round guys projected to be similar to the Caleb Williams draft. And there's not really 6 spots for starting quarterbacks right now. Like, again, the Saints would take it if they had the draft capital. I'm just saying, like, there's 3 or 4 for sure, but now you have the Raiders are off that conversation. If the Jets get Kyler Murray and that goes well, like, there's really not that many. There's the Cardinals. There's just not that many teams that need quarterbacks. I know, like, it's perceived need quarterbacks, right? But, like, to take a quarterback top 5.
I mean, you'd be surprised. Like, let's think through it. Look at the NFC West. Cardinals will need one. The Rams will probably need one because I think Stafford's done after this year. So So not the 49ers and not the Seahawks. Maybe the Seahawks. Like, it depends on what Sam Darnold ends up doing after this year. So no to the Bears, no to the Packers. Lions, like, how invested are they with Jared Goff after this year? That remains to be seen. The Vikings are up in the air. So probably not the Giants. Probably not the Commanders. Probably not the Eagles. Who's the other team in that division in the NFC?
Giants. They have Jackson Dart. No.
Cowboys. So probably not. So nobody there. But the South, like Baker Mayfield, I'm not sure what his contract situation is.
Baker, they're not taking a quarterback. Panthers, okay, they could maybe take one. Bryce Young's
Panthers are
Falcons, maybe.
Yeah, yep. I mean, Michael Penix, like if the injury sticks around, and then the Saints. So that, I mean, I just named like 7 in the NFC that are all possibilities, right?
But Malik Willis is going to go somewhere, and they're going to sign him for a boatload of money, and they're going to be tied to Malik Willis.
There's no guarantee that Malik Willis ends up being a regular starter. Like, I know the NFL is in love with this guy, but dude, like 4 or 5 small sample games in relief of Jordan Love, like he was like mediocre at best in Tennessee the 2 years prior. So I don't understand, like, with a good coach in Matt LaFleur and a good system, sure, Malik Willis flourished because he's very athletic. But like, well, let's look back at what he did his rookie year in Tennessee. Oh my God, it was atrocious.
All right, I'll give you maybe 5 or 6 spots, but that's max. Usually there's more though. Usually there's 8 or 10 spots though. Right, 8 or 10 quarterback needy teams. And
so the Browns,
Mac Jones might get traded.
The Browns.
Yeah, the AFC doesn't have many. It's Dolphins, Jets, Steelers, Browns.
Dolphins, Jets, Steelers, Browns. Dolphins, Jets, Steelers, Browns. So there's 4 right there.
And that's it.
We already talked. So we already talked about the Cardinals. We talked about the Rams. We talked about the Vikings, the Falcons, the Saints, possibly. Yeah, so I mean,
8. I'll give you 8. I'll give
10.
You 10. 10. Fuck you, not 10. Not 10, you son of a bitch. All right. What a good show. You know, we do this show for you guys. This is February. There's not a lot to talk about. I am still putting out that content for you guys pretty much every fucking night. So not a great night. We made $2 and we got 0 subscribers. Story. That is not a good night on the show, but we had a good time talking football.
We did have a good time. We brought a lot of.
Had a good time.
I hope the people that were here at least gained some valuable insights. I feel like we gave one of our better performances this evening.
Well, you forgot a lot of names. You did not give one of your better performances. But again, Storey operating at 80% capacity is still better than anyone else at 100% capacity. We all know that. So.
That's fair.
Very fair. I mean, I know it. I know you're the goat.
It's Friday. It's a long week. I just
clean it up a little bit, Storey. It was I'm gonna have the Ray conversation with you. Be like, hey man, have some notes, okay?
Usually I come prepared. I did not like.
We can't, dude. The point is, we can't have notes in the show because we're getting questions left and right. We're going all over the map. That's why most of your clowns out there won't do live streams because you will get exposed on a live stream like this if you don't know ball. That's just a straight up fact.
Well, yeah, they do live streams, but then they stuff all the questions at the end, and they only answer the ones that they know, you know?
Right. Yeah, you'll get exposed if you don't really know ball, and we do know ball. I don't have anyone on here that doesn't know ball. If you want to poke some holes in Ray, that's fine. But guess what? Ray is also the most.
The sign for football is?
This?
It's this.
Oh, I was close. I don't know sign language, so.
Yeah, it's so there's several signs that they basically mimic, like basketball is this, fishing this, but
I know a few. I know like dick sucking is like this.
Actually,
sucking, right?
casino is this.
Dude, what was the remember the Curve episode where Larry doesn't take the drink from Lewis's girlfriend's drink because he heard that she got a blowjob from him, or she gave him a blowjob, and he's like the universal symbol for blowjob, and he like got it all mixed up. It's this, right? That's the blowjob thing.
You ever seen that video of the late night Cubs game where there's like 3,000 people?
Oh, I love that one. That dude just fucking going crazy.
Dude, I was at that game.
And there wasn't many people there. Was it a rain delay or what was it?
Yeah, it was a huge rain delay. So it was a Monday night because the Broncos were playing and Peyton Manning was on. It was a Monday night, but it was late in the season, and either the Cubs or the Brewers, one of them was still in the playoff race, so they had to get this in because there was like 2 days left in the season after this. Anyway, they had to get it in. It was the latest start ever at Wrigley. We were across the street doing shots of rum chata until they opened the doors at like 11:15 at night. They started the game after midnight, and we're like, there's no way that they're gonna sell. They ended up selling booze until like 12:30 in the morning.
Oh, shit.
It's just wild. So I mean, we went all the way down to like the 5th row or whatever. My buddy was hammered, yelling at the players. Security comes over. They're like, hey, we know this isn't your guys' seats, but can you go ahead and keep it down a little bit? And we're like, yep, sorry about that. Because you could hear everything. There was like you could hear.
Oh, yeah.
3,000 people in there. It was absolutely wild.
I got an old one that I used to have. I wonder if my parents still have it. It was I had my mom record it back in the day. It was a similar situation. Like it wasn't a rain delay, but it was about to be a rain delay. And it was Cubs Rockies, and Royce Clayton was on deck. And we got all the way up there on the bricks, front row there by the net. And I was blackout. I'm probably 19, blackout drunk, dude. And I'm just giving Royce Clayton the business. And you could hear everything I'm saying because there's no one in the crowd, right? Like everyone was leaving because it was starting to pour. And I'm just giving him a bunch of shit, even though and he ended up tipping his cap to me because it was a sign of respect. Like Royce Clayton's the ultimate unknown player, really good defender, but he was an ex-White Sox player. But I actually started a chant, a Royce Clayton sucks chant. Sounds like let's go Cubs. Clayton sucks. And like the 150 people that were there all were fucking chanting it. And like he turned around and tipped his cap to us because he was just like, these guys are awesome. But like there was a video, it's like 4 minutes long before they actually called the game. Kyle Farnsworth was pitching, which was awesome to see him that close. 98 miles an hour. And I'm just fucking screaming and yelling at fucking Royce Clayton. Just 19-year-old drunk skinny Rob just screaming at an MLB player.
Was this a night game or a day game?
No, it was a day game.
That's hilarious.
So it was, dude. I miss. I gotta find that clip because I would have that in here because it's epic.
Find that clip.
Well, I used to just bring water bottles of vodka in, right? Because I wasn't even of age to drink, and they would let me in, and like everyone would move from. This is like when the Cubs weren't necessarily selling out. This would be like 2007 ish. And we would go in there. We'd have like fucking 4 water bottles. We just get Coke, and people would see us like ripping shots behind us with like families and kids. And like by like an inning later, everyone's just gone because they're just like, these guys are going to be out of control. And we were, but guess what? They have no proof. As long as you're not saying slanderous things.
They have much bigger things to worry about than a couple of guys sneaking shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing wrong with having a little fun. All right, great show. Professionalfanatics.com. Furious, Nick O, you guys should join the community. We much appreciate you guys. Jonathan, thank you. We'll see you soon. Monday, we have a movie Monday coming up for you guys, as well as probably another show recapping the wide receivers or running backs go tomorrow, which is a big thing, in the quarterbacks, but there's no quarterbacks to talk about. Story.
Kalen Green.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Kalen Green. That's awesome. All right, guys. Thank you. Love your life. Stay positive. Respect each other. We're out of here.
Just seemed like a good dude. I thought I'd see if you wanted to grab a beer, that's all. I'm glad you called. We get home safe, Pistol.
You got it, Jobin.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Oh, what'd you say?
I don't know. You nicknamed me Pistol, and I just called you Jobin. It means nothing. I'm drunk. I'm gonna call a cab.
All right, man. You have my number, yeah?
I got you stored in my iPhone.
All right. If you need me, call, okay?